Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and look at you beautiful people already up in here. Let me adjust this camera real quick. Okay. All right, so first, you know what? And I missed somebody already. Key ASC, congratulations on being first. I saw that. Congratulations, brother. You are due one crisp thumbs up. So congratulations, my friend. And let's first start by saying what's up to all the channel members out here. We're going to go quick because y'all know we got a super special guest waiting backstage. So we don't want to keep them waiting too long. So let's say what's up to all the channel members. We got One Love Design. What's up, brother? Kurt 24. What up? Man Against the Masses. What up? Another channel member. Let's see. One Love. We got Andy Lipsco. What's up, brother? Another channel member. Mike McClune. Channel member. Flying Rich. Third time quality. Rich, anything that you build, bro, is definitely third time quality. Just saying. You can poke fun, but it's the realest of the real. Craig Licka, what's up, brother? Another channel member. Mark Tucker. Damn. So I guess Mark Tucker was actually one of the recipients of the memberships that y'all been gifting out. So thank you, y'all. Hey, it's Luigi. Chef's Kiss. What's up, brother? Another channel member. Key ASC, what up? Who was first this evening? Misty, Misdemeanor, Miss Wayne, good to see you, another channel member. Caleb F, what's up, brother? Another channel member. Let's see who else we got. Hey, Toy Town Inc, what's up, brother? Another channel member. Let's see, Andy Lipsco, Key ASC. Hey, Existence Mundane, what's up, brother? Good to see you. David Philpott, what's up, brother? Another channel member. Damn, there's so many channel members up in here, bro. Marconi Armory, what's up, brother? Another channel member. Let's see, Kurt 24, Toy Town, KSC, Andy, Caleb. Hey, Goonbeam, what's up, brother? Another channel member. Somebody sent me a meme, and it was like like a person like gardening or something like that, and a little worm that climbed out of the ground. And it was like a channel member worm. And it was like, channel member. I forgot who said that. That's me. I know I'm cheesy. That's what I do. But y'all are my peoples, man. Y'all are my channel member. Channel member. Channel members sound off if I missed you. My bad, bro. Luigi, bro, it's great to have you back, my brother. One Love Design. I know you've been waiting for this shit because I've been seeing you in the forum. Goonbeam vibing. That 40 though, we're not going to talk about 40 cal here. You already know. It's 9 mil all day. Dangle Matt, what's up, brother? Another channel member. Not only was he first, he gifted 5 memberships. That's right. Key ASC did gift 5 memberships. Senor Bob, channel member. Oh man, they say you gotta have whatchamacallit. Hey, Mike McClune, what's up, brother? Channel member. I'm forgetting the term. Oh well, fuck it. I'm stoked to have our guest tonight. So rituals. That's what I'm saying. You gotta have a ritual with your people. You know what I'm saying? So tonight we were drinking on some delicious Red Bull stout, poured from the finest tap in the land. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and jump into it. So without further ado, what up, AC? What up? Without further ado, I would like to introduce to you the person who helped me learn how to build polymer 80s. Your boy was teaching me all along. The one, the only Marine gun builder.
Stop, channel members. You're talking like me, member.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Member.
Get in the car.
What's up, man?
So, Marine gun builder on my show. It's been like a year.
Hey, if there was one that I was due, it was you, and I think I still owe John Crump one. But you two definitely, but you were next in line. You were next in line. So, but the timing is perfect.
Oh yeah. Better, man. I mean, everything kind of going crazy in our world. It's good to get the message out and to talk about freedom, independence, preparedness, and kind of everything that unites us.
We're just gonna red pill some motherfuckers tonight. That's how I look at it. I look at it like I don't know if they can swallow the whole pill. We might have to give it in doses tonight.
So that's kind of funny because sometimes I tell people, like, a lot of times you may just have to take the pill and like hold on to it, revisit it from now on. Same thing with the black pill. It's easy to get black world, but there may be some people out there that may have lived under a rock, right? And they may not know who you are. So if you could do me a favor and let everyone know who you are, what you do, and where they can find you.
Oh, you want me to talk about myself?
Surprise.
Let me see. It's an interview. So I am Marine gun builder. The famous Marine gun builder, as they tell me, but I'm really just an old salty fucking Marine dog. Love building freedom, and we have started prepareyourtribe.com. Now, before all that, we had years of enormous growth and inspiring people to be gun builders, man. We've brought hundreds of thousands of people to this wonderful exercise of freedom and showed people exactly how to do it. And we're very proud in the MGB community that we did that. And I don't know, probably somewhere along the way, we caught all the wrong attention from all the power and influence of people who hate freedom. And, they've attacked us nonstop since then. And now, well, the Marine gun builder, what we had is flagged as a domestic extremist because I am a domestic extremist, apparently. Somebody who loves our country, who loves freedom, who wants to see people exercising their right. This is what we are, an opposite world. But if you like to burn police cars and businesses and riot in the street, in this opposite world, you're a patriot. So I no longer can really refer myself to a patriot if we're going to be talking about opposite world tonight. In opposite world, I have been labeled as that. So there you go.
That's so true. And like there was so long over the last 3 years where not only were you contributing to the country if you were burning down the world, but you were expected to endorse the most like violent organization that we found out was actually run by Susan Rosenberg, who was a fucking underground terrorist who was pardoned by Bill Clinton running BLM. Like, what the? It doesn't make sense. So opposite world. I totally.
Right. And remember, as we talk about opposite world tonight, I know a lot of folks didn't catch our stream. Was it last week? When we talk about this tonight, you have to understand that everything that is said to you, it is said under manipulation, right? Yeah. Like manipulation, and I'll just say the definition again so everybody's on the same page here. The way they use manipulation is they provoke you and disrespect you. And then when you react to that disrespect, they then crucify you for your reaction. So it's like provoke, disrespect, come at you. And the moment you stand up and come back and say, hey, enough, that's when they start to crucify you, right? And so you have to understand, like that's like the basic manipulative behavior of a narcissist, right? It's also goes against everything you're taught when you're very young, right? You have children, right, DLD?
Yep.
All right. So, what do we teach kids about bullying?
I mean, you got to stand up for yourself,
We teach them stand up, right? And if you see another kid getting bullied, say something.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, who are the fucking bullies in this world right now?
The same people we're talking about, the same people that, interestingly enough, looking at your kind of metaphor there, the same people that cause problems, cause problems, cause problems, then miraculously come out with a solution. you know,
You know, I mean,
and they get paid for both.
you know, we want to defund the police. We don't want to defund the police. Now, this week, they want to defund the police, but only so they went from we need to defund the police to, oh, no, 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 it's an election. We don't want to defund police. We love police. To now, we want to defund police, but only in places that have 2A sanctuaries.
Oh,
Right, right.
Yeah.
But only there. Only
Yeah.
there. You mean because there's no crime there? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, amazing.
Really dangerous. Let's just
Amazing.
like Chicago, LA, like let's
Right.
avoid like that. Baltimore, Maryland,
I mean, Atlanta,
Atlanta, yeah.
destroyed.
You would think that they would look at these telltale signs. They would look at the evidence, the facts and information, and be able to make educated decisions on like what to do moving forward. But it's not about leadership. It's not about change. It's about programming, conditioning, and controlling and ruling.
And the way they do that is through buckets of votes, right? So they divide and separate everybody into clear buckets of votes and those buckets, right? Whether that be, race, religion, social issues, whatever it is, they divide up everybody into these different buckets, and they look at those buckets and they say, can we grow this bucket? And if we can, we'll put a lot of money into that, growing that bucket. Or what buckets are already, full, which ones are halfway that we can continue to either drive a social issue to elevate that bucket. But everything is a bucket of votes. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is. And you just used the word leadership. There's no accountability at all. And so when you have no accountability, you end up being run by, basically a dictatorship. When you start to talk about things like we need a governance board of disinformation, now you're China, your Ministry of Truth. I mean, that's basically what has happened here. And understand that these are the things that make me a domestic extremist. Just saying what's actually happening, right?
Yeah.
These are the things that cause you to, have the full-on assault of them, is because you're pointing out things. As you said, leadership is about accountability. And when we think about accountability, a real leader or real leaders love accountability. They thrive on accountability. They want their people to hold them accountable because they want to be better leaders. We have a system where they don't want you to question anything, not even point out facts. They don't want you to question anything. And so how can you have any type of culture, okay? Culture, and key word in culture is cult, right? How can you have any type of culture when the people who are leading this culture are dead set on destroying it because they won't allow any accountability into the system on any level, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we don't really have leaders, right? I mean, let's face it, we don't, okay? We're in a system of basically just power, money, and influence. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Power, money, and influence. Power, money, and influence. And that's all that matters. And nothing else matters.
Facts. Zach Carr, thank you for the super chat, brother. When we were talking about the that one summer, he sent a super chat that said, "The mostly peaceful summer of love."
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean,
we got
the tolerance.
I went back.
Yeah.
You good? Go ahead.
Mm.
Ice Cream Dipper, one of your peoples from.
Oh my God, how are you, man? Oh, it has been so great to see these names. What up, Dipper, man?
Yeah, we got AC, One Love Design, Carlos Duran, bunch of, and I don't know if you remember Ting Ting. This is Ting under a different name. You got a bunch of folks up in here, man.
Awesome, man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, I mean, I just agree. I don't see any type of leadership, happening. Although the stuff that Elon's doing, I'm behind. This whole thing that he's doing, I'm behind. Um, Probably, in my opinion, right now, the bravest Americans we have at this current moment are the 20 plus FBI agents that have stood up and said the shit that's going on is fucking wrong. And, to me, these are the patriots of our time, standing up and saying this monitoring fucking people, this going after people, this putting them on lists, invoking the Patriot Act to get them against them is fucking wrong. And, to me right now, those people deserve everything, all the credit. As far as standing up for freedom at this point, because we don't see it that often. So when we see it, we're kind of like amazed by it, right? So to me, these people are real heroes doing that right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. Angry Sarge, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Yeah, he's good people. He's been hardcore over here.
Yeah, he's dedicated.
He is, and he's a great dude. But no, I totally agree, man. The idea, like the concept, like leadership seeks accountability, responsibility, and they look to, oh, here you go, John Crump live right there. What's up, brother?
Johnny, what's up, man?
We were just talking about you, man. We'll set something up with you and MGB. Thank you for the super.
Yeah, we'll include him on the Tuesday night 8:30 crew.
Hey, there we go. Hell yeah. But like you were saying, like people in like true leaders, like people that really want to grow, develop, they seek discomfort, they seek accountability, they seek responsibility,
Right.
and they thrive in it. And I don't know. I don't think within my lifetime there's been real leadership like that. It's always gotten back to power, control, restrictions, and penalties, right? Like look at the people, look at what's happening to those that are standing up, speaking out against shit, like against anyone that's like, hey, this isn't right. They're immediately silenced, their livelihood is threatened and or taken away, right? Like, and honestly, you may even be a great example of that,
Oh, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. But let me say this because I think this is important to DLD, is we're at where we're at. And in life, this is true. You're at where you're at, AT, right? The word at, AT. You're at where you're at for what you allow and what you tolerate. So anytime you don't like where you're at in something, you have to ask yourself, what did I allow and what did I tolerate? Because that's exactly why you're at where you're at. Okay. But there is a time where you need to allow things to happen, and there's a threshold where toleration stops. I believe that we're starting to cross the line now. And hope is hold on, pain ends, right? Sometimes you gotta wait till the tide is correct. And like we talked last week on last week's live, this is very much a game of chess. Okay. And we are the pawns. We're just fucking peasants. And you are fighting rooks, knights, kings, and bishops and queens, right? I mean, you are fighting power, money, and influence. When you think about power, money, and influence, the power, money, and influence are not politicians. They are subject to special interest and lobbyist groups. Okay. And the most powerful one that is out there right now is the anti-gun lobby. They are extremely powerful and extremely influential. I mean, they just spent $10 million in Colorado and Pennsylvania alone, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these people are extremely powerful, and they don't just do anti-gun stuff anymore. You start to watch what they do, and they're all over the race game as well. They're have grown massively. But when it comes to us, like in the 80% community, we are certainly definitely on their radar as the most they define us as the biggest threat in America. So you have to understand that as a community, we sit here sometimes and we're like, where does all this fucking hate come from? Like why are we attacked so much? Well, it is because the politicians work for them. I mean, that's who they get their money from. So of course they're going to come after us hard,
Yeah. Especially if an outlet, or like if someone like you or other people are using a platform that they use for conditioning and for for their messaging. If someone like you is countering that message, you're immediately going to become a target, and they're going to go after you with extreme power. Real quick though, I just want to shout out, so Agorizer became a new channel member.
Not bad, right?
The MGB, MGB, MVE, MVE with the super chat. And while we were having this conversation, see, people are so pumped to have you. They're just giving it away. They're giving channel memberships
Good,
away.
good, good. Listen, I'll tell you all right now, you need to support the people that are willing to do this, because again, this is way bigger than the 80% community alone. This is bigger than guns. This goes to the very, very, very top here. And the people that are willing to still get out there and put their face out there and educate and red pill fucking people, they need all your support, without a doubt. I kind of grew to a level, or I got to a level where the struggle to grow isn't there, right? But for all of like you guys, which is why we're going to do our Tuesday night stuff, right? You guys, you can't afford to be suppressed, right? You can't afford to be shadow banned. We have to grow those voices. Those voices have to become united. There has to be collaboration, and there's got to be support going forward, because they control this. They control it all. You make no mistake about that. Do you know? All right, are we ready to give some red pill away? But we're gonna just maybe just the tip, baby, just the tip.
I gotta say that real quick. Kurt 24, CNC Designs and Arms, both just gifted 5 memberships each, bro. Thank you guys so much, man. Super grateful for y'all.
Awesome.
Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, let's just give a little piece of a red pill. I'm gonna give you a tip, okay? Do you know what the greatest gift ever has been to the 80% build community?
I could think of a couple, but
we have the fucking greatest fucking gift upon us right now.
What's that?
I cannot wait to build guns in this man's name. Hunter Biden.
Ooh.
Hunter Biden is like our fucking patron saint right now. He is everything right now. So you have to understand the things that we have been screaming about as a community for years, okay? Like Facebook, like you talking about social media, right? Yeah. Facebook is controlled by the DOJ. Like we've known this for fucking years. We have known that. We've been targeted. We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of malicious targeting from Facebook. Like we knew this. Right? And we knew it wasn't Facebook. We knew it wasn't, right? When in the world does Facebook disable a group for 3 months while the DOJ images everybody's fucking data just to give it back? Right? Like, I mean, we'll take me I don't want to make this about me, but it's kind of about me in a lot of ways, right? With some of this stuff, right? But when it comes to the 80% community anyway, I mean, like the whole, somebody said this, I've been in this for years, okay? Hundreds of thousands of pieces of information have gone through my fucking eyeballs, right? Like, I mean, totally, so much fucking information over the years. In all this fucking time, not one fucking time in years, deeply involved in this, have I seen anything illegal. Not one fucking time. So, like this thing that, it's the root of all evil messaging and all this shit. It's all nonsense. It's all fucking nonsense. So, like when the feds would be out there and fucking, you'd hear stories of phishing, or they'd fish you, or this, that. You always looked at it as just a fucking annoyance. Like you brushed it off. Like you just figured, it's annoying, like that they fucking do stuff like that. All right. But you never really took it serious because you know that this is really just enthusiasts. This is people who just love to build freedom, right?
Yeah.
See, it was annoying, but Facebook made it fucking personal to me one day. You know, it got real personal with me, and that was when a day came and they deleted me. Okay,
Completely.
and listen, you know, it's the thing is that you want to delete the Marine Gun Builder page. Okay, all right, you know, we can deal with that. But they deleted me, my entire life. Now I understand you guys know Facebook today, but Facebook wasn't like this. You know, I mean, I've been on Facebook since 2007, right? It was like a decade where it was happy and you connected with friends and you shared things. And what
Yep.
happened was they fucking they viciously, wasn't about a page, it was me on that day. And every photo of my family was fucking gone, some irreplaceable. So to me, that's unforgivable. But
Mm.
not only that, people that took photos of me and fucking tagged me and it weren't even on my fucking account, took them off them too. Okay. On that day, it became fucking personal to me because you took my family's history away. You took fucking legacy away that day. That day, it became fucking personal. And do you know when that day was?
When?
The day they announced Joe Biden as president. I was sitting there because it was a couple days later, right? They were still counting votes. I was watching Ben Shapiro talk about him about to be president, and motherfucker, they did it right then and there.
Wow.
Timing is impeccable, is it not?
That's
Timing is impeccable. So on
that's
that day, it became very personal to me, and it became very evident what this was. This wasn't Facebook's fucking firearm policy bullshit. This was a coordinated fucking attack with the government. It was very clear, and you fucked with my family that day. Now, typically when these things happen, because they do happen,
Mhm.
okay? I mean, Primary Arms got shut down today on Instagram. I don't know how many people know that, okay?
Oh,
But
thing.
these things do happen. Groups get shut down, gun, you know, advocates, freedom advocates, voices get suppressed. We know that. But a lot of times, well, most times, there are certain people that we go to, okay, that usually square it away on our behalf, right? There's people and there's groups that you can go to that can get these accounts restored.
Yeah.
And you know what? They lost that power that day. What day? Oh, the day he was elected president, officially announced as president. So, you know, I've known for a long time, but I definitely knew at that point that this isn't Facebook, right?
Yeah.
This is not Facebook. This is there's something way deeper here going on. And there was no need for it. I mean, it was why? For what? What exactly is wrong? Because here's the thing, never let them fucking shame you about what we do. Never let them shame you about what we do. You are exercising your freedom as an American. And I said this last week, but this is what is the definition of America: people exercising their freedom,
Yeah.
right? This is what it is. And so if we don't want that, like society or the government doesn't want that, then they don't want America, right? I mean, many countries have constitutions. You know, the difference is we knows what ours say, and we practice the exercising of those freedoms in order to keep them. So
Yeah.
when you actively have a coordination between a government and, you know, town squares or social media or big tech or whatever you want to call it, doing these egregious acts against us, they're telling you that they don't want Americans to be free. They don't want you to exercise your right. And it's not just us, it's voting as well,
Mm.
right? And now it's so fucking out of whack, so fucking crazy that when we, like the whole thing going on right now with free speech, right?
Yeah.
You actually have who should be the fucking most outspoken advocates of free speech, which is the media, right?
Mm.
I mean, they should be. They're the ones calling for more fucking censorship. Like, are we that fucking dumb?
Yeah.
Like how you've already given away voting, you've already given away the Second Amendment, and now you want to give away this too? Like it's beyond fucking crazy, beyond crazy, beyond
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean, this is aside from what's happened with you and the coordinated attack of you and a lot of others, I mean, shit, even going back 69 viewers, nice. Even going back to the congressional letter from YouTube. Did you ever hear who wrote that letter?
Yeah, it was signed by a whole bunch of people, but who wrote it?
YouTube wrote it.
Yeah.
YouTube wrote it. Got it signed by all these fucking 10 or 12 congressmen.
Yeah, because they don't want the liability of it, because they know. And now understand that I've communicated with YouTube up front about a lot of this. Okay. So this isn't a fucking surprise. And now I know the Montana governor, I think it's the governor of Montana. Yeah. He wrote and just recently, fighting back for us. But the reality is this is now coming to a head. This is coming to a head because of Hunter Biden. You understand that we're fucking assholes to them. They don't listen to us. Even the people that should be on our side, there's a handful of Republicans that really fight for us. There really is. But the majority doesn't. Do you understand what I'm saying? The majority, looks at it and like, you guys have been trashing the media. Is this because listen, the Democrats do a fantastic job at painting fucking pictures. They're fucking beautiful artists. They can paint a fucking picture and get their people to believe it upside down and fucking backwards. Okay. Yeah. But there isn't been support for us in this stuff. These things are egregious that have happened in the name of freedom to us. This is egregious. Okay. Yeah. But we can't get that support. But now with the Hunter Biden thing, they're all behind it. They're all behind. They can't wait to fucking get into office. They can't wait to go after him for some of these things. And now, like Elon's saying on Twitter, he's going to release the entire contents of the laptop or the collusion that happened between Twitter and the government. But why? Because of Hunter. This shit's been happening to us for fucking years.
Oh yeah.
By them. You know what? We got fucking screamed at. We pay attention. We got fucking screamed at, right? About election denying and the fucking integrity of the democratic process and all this bullshit, right? And that, don't ever question the meddling, this is fixed and that is fixed, and, if freedom is at risk, America, the democracy, democratic ideals and democracy is at risk because of you fucking domestic extremism people, right? Yeah. Right? Yeah. Okay. Do we all remember getting fucking scolded about this? Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Now let me ask you this question. So now that we're all on the same fucking page and we're still taking some of that red pill, okay? We're still taking some of that red pill. We all agree that we've been fucking screamed about this democratic process bullshit. Okay. We just went through a democratic process as an 80% community, did we not?
Yeah.
Okay. What was that process?
So on August 24th, they pretended they completely avoided an act of Congress and legislation, and they changed a rule that they're categorizing under an existing law. And I say it like that because a lot of people are saying they changed the law. They didn't. They changed their interpretation of an existing law.
Interesting.
Because they didn't, there was no vote. There was no act of Congress. There was no legislation. It was, the FAT-D, the Firearms and Technology, Division, whatever, changing their opinion using 364 pages of confusion.
Wow. Can I ask another question?
Sure.
In the entire 80% community, who had the most reach?
I mean, I would say you, hands down.
By fucking far.
Yeah.
By fucking far. Okay?
Bro, you can't even see where my tabs were, dog. Sorry.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what was that date that you said?
It was enacted August 24th.
By the way, none of this is fucking scripted. I the first time I've ever fucking talked to him face to face on here was about 10 minutes before we fucking started.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And this is just coming up random. I mean, we do this for weeks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read you something. You guys want? We'll do a story time with Uncle MGB here. Okay.
Here, I'll put you on full screen. Do your thing.
Well, no, you don't have to put me on full screen. I'm not that pretty, but I'm going to read you something. And what I would like to know from everybody here is what you hear. Tell me what you heard. Okay. This is a post that I made. It says ATF proposed rule change definition of firearm or receiver. Final call to action. Patriots. Over the last few months, we've been discussing the outrageous attempt by the ATF and Biden administration's efforts to further infringe on our rights. I encourage you to participate every Wednesday in the discussion on the MGB forum. Oh, hold on. All right, let me go on to the next page. Let me minimize this so I can have multiple pages.
I'm getting lonely.
All right, you ready? The truth is, anti-gun lobby groups have been well organized and heavily funded during this time and have flooded the comments in show of support of these proposed actions. Right? Now, we're going to stop there just for 1 second. So come back up on screen. So this is a democratic process, is it not? Right? There's a comment period, you know, people who are for it comment, other people who are against it comment. It's part of the democratic process that we have, correct?
Yeah.
Right? So totally understandable. All right. Understand that exercising your fundamental right to build your own firearm in the privacy of your own home is the last pure freedom under the Second Amendment. All other rights in regards to how you buy, how you possess, how you carry, or what you can own all come with some level of government oversight and regulations. Building your own firearm is truly the last unmolested freedom under the Second Amendment. Should the ATF and the Biden administration be successful in their attempt to strip this freedom, then the result will be no part of firearm ownership, which is free from government intrusion or overreach. Pretty spot on?
Yep.
Hear anything wrong yet?
I mean, not quite yet, but yeah.
Okay. How to comment. Avoid swearing, attacking, or emotional tangents against the agency or government. Doing these things allows them to remove the comment from counting as opposition to the proposed rule. Approach it as you are writing a business letter. Let me get the next page. Remember, all the facts are on our side. If you need help or want others to look over your comment before submitting, then A, go to the MGB forum where we have many months worth of Patriots comments and advice, or B, post it below and we'll help you craft language. The Gun Owners of America also has a great template that breaks down all of the things wrong with the proposed rule. You will certainly gain some inspiration for writing your own comment. The PDF is here, and I have a link to the PDF. Then the next thing says submit your opposition comment here with a link to the Federal Register so that patriots can be involved in the democratic process. Other actions needed. Number 1, inform your local gun shops, ranges, clubs, and associations and ask them to participate in the fight by email notification of a call to action to their customers and members. Number 2, share this information to your pages or groups. This group is private, so it's our massive group on Facebook, right? So feel free to copy and paste wherever you need to. Number 3, call your senator's office and oppose the confirmation of Acting Director Chipman. Emails are easily disregarded, so please take the time to call. The U.S. Senate switchboard number is, and I put it, and every senator's extension is here. All the senators' extensions. Stay connected by coming to the MGB forum. Social media restricts and shadow bans at will. It is always best to be connected off the network. Okay. What am I doing in that post?
I mean, it's
Form?
Call to action. I mean, call to action for people to take a stand against, the impending bullshit.
encouraging people to exercise their democratic fucking process, right? To exercise their freedom.
Yeah. Clearly, that's
So why was it removed?
that's clearly actions of a domestic.
Why is it removed? You think Facebook removed that?
No,
Really?
no.
You think fucking Facebook removed that post?
You
Really?
know,
You know what's really fucking interesting though? What was the date you said?
that was 8/24.
August 24th. Do you know that that fucking post stayed up for a year almost until the fucking thing went live and they deleted it on August 23rd to wipe
Yeah.
any fucking record that we had part of the democratic process? This is bullshit that we're in. It's absolute bullshit. And the thing is nobody listens to us, but they're all going to listen to Hunter. They're all going to listen to that because they all want that. But the reality is this bullshit has been going on for a long fucking time, and we have not had a voice, you know? And I personally don't care if our voice comes through that garbage, you know, of him banging fucking hookers and doing crack and Chinese spies and all the fucking garbage that he's been into. If that's how it needs to come out, then fine. But at the end of the day, don't ever fucking believe that there is any fucking democratic process here. This is controlled completely, right? Remove any possibility for us to fight. Remove any possibility that we even fucking exist. That we don't even fucking exist.
I mean, this happened when they said that they reviewed the over 500,000 comments in like 5 business days or 7 business days, some shit like that. There's absolutely no possible way that that's humanly even close to achievable. They
understand that the things that I'm reading is not to mention infuriate you. I'm infuriated enough, but there are literally hundreds of these things documented. You know, the thing is that I told everybody from fucking day one, and I used to get a lot of slack for it. I used to say, let them do it, let them do it, let them do it, let them do it. The tide ebbs and flows. It ebbs and flows. Hope, hold on, pain ends. Eventually, the fucking tide will come in. I never thought it would be the fucking president's son. You know, I didn't know when that tide would come in, but eventually it will. I couldn't forecast that the richest man in the world would buy Twitter and set the fucking world on fire on the other side on the censorship stuff. But I knew that nobody was listening to us. Nobody gave a fuck about us. And the reality is that the longer we allowed it, the more brazen they got, the further they reached, the more they went, right? They got fucking greedy. Okay. And now we're at the point where it's like, you know what? There's a lot of explaining to do on the other side. There really is. And I don't believe in accountability, but I'll tell you who's going to be accountable for it. The federal agents who are fucking doing this stuff right now. Your bosses, I got bad news for you. Your boss is going to be looking for a fucking scapegoat out of this. And all they're going to say is, oh, we didn't tell them to do all that. We don't know why they went that far. But it's going to come out through Hunter, for sure.
All guys. And
yeah, you know, the thing is it's fucking crazy because you look at it and you're like, do they not fucking see that they're just pawns too? Like really, you work for the anti-gun lobby. Like, at what point are we just going to admit that? You know what I mean?
But they honestly don't even know who are pulling the strings, right? They may hear a name here, or whatever, who's raising money, but they don't know about the people above them and above them and above them.
No, and this is all fixed. And I get that. I mean, I talk about opposite world all the time, right? And I say that these, you know, you don't accept these things, but you expect that they're going to happen, you know, and by the way, it's not anti-governments, you know, that's the other thing, because, you know, they keep changing that thing too, like, you know, Trump, MAGA, and all this stuff, right? Patriots don't give a fuck about all that stuff. Like we don't give a fuck about politics. We want to see people be free and exercise their freedoms. That's all we want at the end of the day. And honestly, we don't even fucking hate the government. And that's the other thing they like to paint the picture. I just want a healthy, thriving government. And I want leaders that say, you know what, we want to be held accountable. You know what I mean? We want to run a good system. And if you see something that's fucked up, please tell me, you know, so I can fix it. And here we're not in that world, right? Like when you point something out, it's like, shut the fuck up, you domestic extremists. The DOJ is coming for you. And it's like, what the fuck, man? How do you continue as America? And here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. All this shit that I just fucking laid out here was totally unexpected. But you know, this is how these things go, right?
Yeah.
It's one of these things where I'm telling you, this is. I said this to my crew on the Sunday Night Survival, not this specifically, but you know, this distraction that where they've turned all of our focus onto fucking just good citizens, you know, mothers at fucking school boards complaining, you know, the people who just exercise in their fucking freedom, because they have completely turned all these resources onto us. They're not paying attention to the rest of the world. And this is going to be 9/11 all over again. If you're under 35, the shit you're seeing now, understand that this shit was going on in 2000. Okay. In 2000, the same fucking bullshit was happening. All right. Al Gore, George W. Bush, right? Bush wins, but Gore wins the popular vote. But you know, Bush's brother is Jeb Bush. He's the governor of Florida, right? Yeah. And the election comes down to Florida. Bush wins by that much, and he is now president through the Electoral College. People are screaming, the election's fixed. We need investigations. You know, it was a fucking nightmare, right? But the same shit, and even before him, he was replacing Clinton and the whole Kenneth Starr investigation and Monica Lewinsky and fucking this shit's been going on forever. But the thing is while all that was going on, what happened in 2001? We were fucking smacked back into reality. All the hate and fucking division was just as vicious as it is today, my friends. But then 9/11 happened, and we lost 3,000 people because we weren't paying the fuck attention. 3,000 innocent people. These weren't military people. These were normal civilians going to work on a Tuesday fucking morning. You know, these were firefighters, people that had give their life to their community of service, real patriots. They were police officers that day who died because fucking politicians can't stop the fucking hate with each other. They can't. And so 3,000 people lost their fucking life. And you know what the fucking motto was the next day? United we stand. Right? All of a sudden, all this fucking pettiness bullshit didn't matter. Now we're united. And I'm here to fucking tell you, it's about to happen again. Right? And I don't care if you're not prepared or you're prepared. Something's going to go down because all eyes are off the most important fucking things, which is our safety. It's gone. Yeah. They're not paying attention to it because you're using resources for bullshit like this. So something's coming our way, no doubt.
There has almost always been some sort of synthesized distraction for us to focus on, whether it's fucking, you know, left versus right, or, you know, whatever, this person versus this person, or you're a fucking MVE, or, you know, purple hair versus whatever, or, you know, I mean, shit. The Summer of Love shit, right? That caused a lot of attention throughout the States, right? And these are all fucking red herrings that are used as tools, whether they're synthesized or whether they're actual events that they exploit. These things happen that take our eye off of the ball and make us focus on whatever bullshit that they're conditioning us to listen to and follow. Imagine so nowadays you speak out, right? Let's say, you know, you have a big following, you speak out on something and they knock you down, they take your reach, they empty your fucking bank accounts, they hold all. Imagine if, like, back in the 90s, right? You're watching a video interview of somebody talking about Florida, right? Or, you know, whatever the fuck, right?
Right.
and they spoke out on something, and they said, this is bad, this is wrong, this is corrupt, this is evil. And you saw on camera some dudes in suits roll up, grab them, tape their mouth shut, take their
Yeah.
wallet in their pocket, and
Right.
their accounts. You'd be like, what the fuck?
Right. But here we are.
The same shit's happening. They
But
just,
here we are.
yeah,
But here we are. But here we are. You know, I hear you, man. I mean, it's just a disgrace, and it's so unfortunate because it doesn't have to be that way. You know, we could really be focusing on advancement as a society, and as a unified society. But you know, we talk about mental illness in this country, and you know, my perspective on that is it's learned behavior. We come home every single night, and to mommy and daddy, the Republicans and the Democrats, we come home every single night to them fighting and spewing hate. And we, the children of America, we come home into this environment every single day. You know, with social media, it's been exemplified. It's even all day, right? It's not just at night on the news, right? It's constant mommy and daddy fighting. And they probably should have got divorced, right? But the reality is that we're forced to take a side. You either love mommy or you love daddy, and you're not allowed to like both of them. You have to either agree with one or the other, or you're a child that's going to get fucking punished. And when one of my brothers and sisters flies off the fucking handle and goes and fucking shoots up a place, you know, they blame what? The gun.
the tool.
But they
Yeah.
don't realize how sick they're making everybody through all the hate. They don't understand that. They don't understand that they're leaders. That's what they're supposed to be doing. They're supposed to lead and be the example. But instead, all we hear is hate. That's all we hear. So when we have mental illness and people that are really fucked up and people that are really have hearts that are filled with hate, understand that's coming from them. That's a learned behavior. They're not growing up in a culture or living in a culture where peace, harmony, love, and the advancement of life is cherished. Only hate is. That's all they speak.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, even like the fucking mass shooting thing, which, you know, as soon as there's one, they jump all over it because it's a fucking money grab, right? Guns, guns, guns. It's a fucking money grab. But the truth is, again, you know, I hate to be like the fucking boomer in the room, right? Because I'm old, okay? But the reality is that, again, this is so we used to have a name for it, okay? It wasn't called mass shootings. That's a fancy new term for anybody that's young, okay?
Yeah.
It used to be called going postal, right? So like when these events happen, we call them going postal because they always happen at the fucking post office. Who runs the post office?
Yeah.
Right? They don't know how to run culture. Okay. And so, you know, and they've changed it over time. Okay. But the reality is that we do need leaders across the board, but real leaders who value a positive culture and not one of hate.
Yeah. You know, I sit here every time I end a stream, I say the same things. I talk about being kind, living a life of, you know, like contribution, giving to others, you know, blessing others, and also being dangerous, you know, being able to defeat evil with good men skilled in violence. And I believe that. And I also believe that, like, people like us that are more reasonable can look at an individual with differing views and still care about a person. That's still a brother or a sister or
Absolutely.
a child of God. You know, they can't do that, right? To the same extent, like the media is either writing a puff piece or a slander piece, right? It's like go left or go right, right? And this
Yeah.
is division in its finest. And you know, I they are good at creating a culture. It is creating a culture that is destroying the American culture with their, you know, little orgy of big government, big business, you know, fucking alphabet and meta and all this shit, right?
Yeah.
And all these different messaging scheme, whether it's social media or media like the traditional media, news outlets and all that shit, they're all having this fucking all these backdoor deals, and they're feeding each other, and then they're just sending out messaging and conditioning, and they're just watching the results. And I think that's why preparedness is such an important factor here, because like something is going to happen, I believe, whether it's a fucking blackout or it's a fucking, a hurricane, or if shit just like we're at DEFCON 3 right now, right?
Right, what I was talking about, right? Like 9
Yeah.
billion people on the planet, buddy. Nobody's even fucking aware we're at DEFCON 3. Never mind know what the fucking definition of it is. Okay. But again, the last time we were at DEFCON 3 was
September 11th.
When we were being attacked.
Yeah.
So why are we at it now?
Well, I think most of the country is under attack. Yeah, most of the country's under attack if they're, military age males that are armed, believe in freedom, independence, and have at least read this and some of the founding.
Yeah.
They're under attack. I mean, I kind of say that in jest, but at the same time, that's real shit. Oh, so Ting Ting Two Storm says we're at DEFCON 2.
Oh, did it move? Probably, maybe. I don't know. I have it on my. I thought I had it linked into my site, but
yeah.
I mean, look. So I don't know. You want to talk about that for a minute? Want to talk about? We'll talk about nuclear warfare. I'll talk about it for a few minutes.
Or we can jump preparedness or whatever you want, bro.
Well, it is preparedness, right? Like honestly, you should all be prepared for it. Okay, when you see the government buy 290 million or 260 million, but hundreds of millions of dollars worth of radiation pills, fucking ding, ding, ding. I should start to be thinking about it. Okay, this is a clear.
Something real quick. I got to bring this up because I mean, this is something that a lot of people don't look at. When you brought up the sodium, the I forgot the name, the radiation pills, and you said like there's a plan. It's like a 72-hour plan, right? Which is only
time. Yeah, right. So
yeah, go ahead.
So yes. So all right, I'll explain that maybe, and then we'll move forward. So the government is the biggest preppers in the world, right? I mean, they're the biggest preppers. Now, I have personally, as a Marine, done missions in the caves. I have seen the bunkers. I have been inside them and done missions in them with gear as far as your eye can see, capable of taking a direct hit. 30 years supplies in these caves. Okay, so they're going to be comfy and cozy. But they put out in messages, be prepared for 3 days. So that's what we hear all the time as Americans, be prepared for 3 days. And the reason they do that is because 3 days is just enough time for them to get comfortable before they tell you you're fucked. That's basically where the 3-day rule comes from. Now, we have 3 days in general survival as well. Okay, but those communications specifically are to get them into a place of safety before they tell you you're on your own. Is that what you were talking about that I said? Yeah. But like nuclear, when you start seeing them buying hundreds of millions of dollars in nuclear radiation, okay, number one, that's concerning. It should be concerning to everybody. Because the other thing too is that they're removing a lot of the supply off the market. Okay,
which they're actually to provide the thank you potassium iodide.
Yes.
They're obligated to provide those for people that are in like areas of like nuclear power plants and shit like that. Yeah. And they're right.
No. Well, so it's one of these subjects that is just so misunderstood as well. I also studied NBC. Okay. But let me go back. So you have that going on. We also have to recognize a fact, okay, which is 2 years ago, there were no problems pretty much in our world as far as war was going on, where we were somehow could be impacted. Okay. Here we are 2 years later, and we've got the Saudi and getting anxious over there about being attacked. Okay. You've got North Korea retesting their weapons. You've got China and Taiwan getting very, very itchy as of late. And of course, we have the Russia-Ukraine / NATO, rest of the world fucking thing going on as well. All of these things didn't happen just 2 years ago. They weren't existing 2 years ago. So I want you to keep that in mind. We've gone to a pretty pretty dangerous place as far as world stability. And by the way, those countries that I all named, nuclear nations. Okay. So it's not like, you know, we're dealing with fucking Afghanistan, which by the way is another fucking mess because we left them hundreds of billions of dollars. And again, these words are so bad, but they're the facts. And just pay attention to this line. In a world full of lies and deceit, my friends, in a world full of lies and deceit, truth is a revolutionary act. And so when you speak facts and you speak truth, that is considered revolutionary. That is considered an act against them. Okay. But we can never stop speaking the fucking truth. All right. It's what has gotten us through all of our tough times. And this is a tough time. Back to nuclear, though. So anyway, we've got all this stuff going on. So yeah, okay, I can see the raising of the DEFCON level. But the thing is that, you know, the media starts to also cause panic, like Russia's going to attack us and Russia's going to do this. And, you know, he's threatening nuclear war. And it's just my opinion, okay? But just studying the landscape of it and understanding it, you know, coming from my history, Russia's not trying to provoke that. You know, we are sending everything to Ukraine. Ukraine is getting everything from us. And we're not, you know, Russia's not attacking those supply lines from us. They're leaving them alone. They're leaving them uninterrupted. It's not like they couldn't. They could easily just cut off fucking supplies and be done. But they're trying their hardest not to provoke us. Okay. Now, meanwhile, Nord Stream 2 fucking pipeline that they have is getting blown up, right? And they're saying, what? Oh, they blew it up on their own. Like the U.S. didn't have any involvement in that. Russia did it because they're trying to provoke this war into nuclear. And it's like, they wouldn't be doing that. They would just cut off the supply lines and finish the fucking job in Ukraine. They would just do that. That would be the easiest method to just fucking end it for them. But they don't.
Especially when we're literally providing lethal fucking aid to them and trying to slide them in the back door of NATO when more than 10 years ago, they said, hey, if we continue expanding NATO, Russia says that they are going to annex Crimea. You know, they literally said they're going to do exactly this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So look, you know, you start to put all these things together. And because they're not answers, this is how conspiracy theorists start, right? This is how they start out there because they're not answers. But most of the time, what have we learned over time when you start to hear these conspiracy things? They actually become true over time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's fucking bananas. But so people start to speculate of what's going to happen, you know? And I think, you know, when you kind of look at the landscape, and again, I'm not trying to start a conspiracy theory here, but when I look at the landscape and I look at the mistruths and I look at what's actually happened, I got to ask myself, are you buying $200 million worth of potassium iodide because you're the one who's going to strike? And I think you can't rule that out at this point, unfortunately. You know, I think we have this, still have this idea that America is good and defenders of the world. And, you know, I think there was a time where that was very true. And we wanted to spread freedom at that time and give people around the world who were oppressed and suppressed a chance at living what we call the American dream. But nowadays, in the words of George Carlin, right, American dream, you got to be fucking asleep to believe it, right? I mean, because we are suppressed and we are oppressed, and you know, we're the ones with the, you know, the disinformation boards and, you know, weaponizing federal resources against people who speak or don't vote the right way or don't say the right things, right? So, you know, the message that we're trying to spread across the world isn't really freedom anymore. It's control.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, look, you got to start to prepare for this stuff. And by the way, here's the biggest myth: nuclear war is totally survivable. You know, the propaganda machine has invoked fear that it's the end of the world and everybody dies and fucking dinosaurs come back to life after us, right? Like, this is what they do. Nuclear war is totally fucking survivable as long as you're not in the epicenter. So, you know,
as long as you're not cooking 2,000 degrees,
as long as you're not in the epicenter. and provided that you have the right gear, right? And by right gear, I obviously mean, you've got your mirror mask and you've got your suit, right? Because they go hand in hand together. You would survive any type of radiation outside of the epicenter if you had those things until you could move to safety. But I guess my point there is that it would be devastating, obviously, and there would be very long-term consequences if that is true, and it wouldn't be easy survival at all. But the human race would carry on from that.
Yeah.
I also believe that if one flies, the likeliness is they're all flying, right? So it would be a massive event. And I think simple things like just kind of knowing where you're at, I mean, what your location is,
Hmm.
and who fires first has a lot to play into that,
Yeah.
because if you have to understand that if the number one targets in any type of nuclear exchange are going to be the targets of the other country or countries nuclear cache. So we already know where all ours are, right?
Yeah.
So if they were going to attack, they would attack those first, okay, so that we wouldn't have a fast enough response. There's a 15-minute window
Yeah.
basically that has to happen, okay. But that's where the top first shots are going to go. But if you fire first, so let's say it was us that fired first, well, those response isn't going to be to that because you've depleted that cache. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah.
That they're going to redirect. So these people have been studying this for years, and and when I mean these people, these countries have been going through these things for years. So they know the plan, and only they know that plan. All I'm saying for us is that we have to be prepared in case any of those crazy fucking people execute that plan, and we could be somewhere within that realm.
I mean, that's although it may sound crazy, it's you kind of have to like living a life of preparedness. You kind of have to, like you're saying, look at it like, okay, what could happen and how could I prepare myself for it? And
Right.
well, what if that's radiation, right? Like
Yeah.
literally, since the shit started popping off, I keep a bottle of potassium iodide,
Yeah.
and I don't have the mirror safety mask. I need to grab one.
So listen, this is the thing: is that pre- preparedness. It's right now. I think you have a window of time. Certainly, I don't think that this is going to happen anytime soon, if it happens at all. Okay, but I am somebody that likes to go to bed every night with peace, and preparedness provides me a ton of that. Okay, but a mirror mask can run you 275, right? And then plus the suit, right? Times how many people are in your family or whoever you want to take care of. So
Yeah.
shit like that can get expensive, okay? But there are other alternatives that you can go to. It's one of these things where you've got to do a risk assessment. You've got, and again, you can go to the forum, okay? Because I've mapped out there where all these things are, okay? And should they occur, what are the likeliness? What are the targets? What are the things what they're going to go for, okay? And see where you are in relation to those targets, okay? Those most likely targets. The epicenter, you're talking 6 to 12 miles up to 20 miles. So if you're not in that direct window, you'll survive. You just it's the radiation shit that gets you, is where you need the mirror stuff, right? But you got to do the risk assessment, because maybe you don't go with that. I'm always a fan of something is better than nothing. So if you're looking at this and you're like, I only have a $275 budget, I can't fucking, I can't buy him for me, my wife, and my kids. Then like what I would say is, if be a realist, okay, and maybe buy them at $99, but get really good filters, for
Yeah.
them. But try to scale back if you have to. You know what I'm saying? Because something, again, is going to be better than nothing.
Yeah.
You know.
There's there's a website that you can go to, and this is crazy that this shit even exists, where you can actually go to. It's called like Nuke Now or Nuke Some. I know somebody that's watching is going to correct me. Please do.
Yeah.
Where you can actually select between the different ICBMs that different countries have, and then different targets, and look at the radius and the fallout and the length, and literally like look at what
Yeah.
would it truly look like.
Yeah, and the winds and how they move. I mean,
Yeah.
it is it is something that if you are worried about that, okay, and I hope I I'm always Catholic because I never want to fearmonger people, okay? But these things are reality right now, and they are questions that go unanswered. And the longer they go unanswered, like I said, a lot of times these things somehow find fruition.
Mhm.
If there was any type of exchange like that, obviously it would be devastating, but there would be an immediate timeout because this is only the ICBM land stuff. Okay, you have to understand that we have nuclear submarines around the world as well. Okay, which I have been very fortunate and honored to teach hundreds of patriots that build them. Okay, probably one of the biggest honors in my life, next to helping hundreds of thousands of people build their own freedom. Okay,
Yeah.
but um, but these there's 20 of them always in rotation around the world, and obviously our adversaries have them as well. Okay, but they are the second strike capability. That's what they are. Okay, they're the final fucking naysayers. They have no cons at all, silent, undetectable, and any job that hasn't been finished, they'll finished. Okay, so I want you to understand that what would really happen is you would have this land-based exchange. Okay, NATO's included in this because NATO's all set up would go too, right? It wouldn't just be like U.S. and Russia; it would be fucking worldwide once it starts. Okay, um,
And
but
people
as
would have,
soon as that happens, quick, like this is done in an hour. Fucking lunchtime, baby. This is fucking over, right? It's done.
yeah,
It's done. This is fast. This isn't sustainable weeks of this shit. It's like that.
you're not gonna throw on your plate cake
Yeah.
overtly. Like
Yeah.
it's a
Santa's not coming down the chimney. Okay. It'd be fast. But there would be a cool off period after that because it would have to be. Okay. So the next question is it over? Or and what's left? What is it over and what's left? And what do the submarines do? Right? Because that would be the final devastating blow if they move forward. But at the end of the day, like every chapter of human history, okay, there will be a reassemblance of society and there will become a new way. And eventually there will be a government to collect your fucking taxes on that new society. So somebody's going to lead it for sure. For
yeah,
sure.
that's so true, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. That honestly, it's sad that we're actually having these conversations, right? Because if you look back, 2, 3, 5 years ago. Now I know a lot of people have had the hardest like 3 years of their lives, right?
Right.
But you look back 3, 5, 10 years ago, we weren't having conversations like this. I mean,
We
something,
wouldn't.
but this is a whole different level, and
Yeah.
you got people smoking each other over just different beliefs. Like you can't even disagree anymore. Like motherfuckers are getting
I know. I
ran
know. I
cars.
know. I know. And most people find themselves I guess when it comes to like the politics at all, it's just everything's going extremism on either side. Like but I think that, and well, we know that because the voting block of independence is the biggest, right? It's one of the largest. So there's a lot of people that find themselves in the middle ground, and I just think that they're the ones that are the most sick of all this because they're just like they're feeling pulled, and they just really want to live their life. And so I hear you, man. I mean, it's just it is unfortunate. It is the world that we live in, and that's why I have prepare your tribe. You've got to prepare your tribe for this world you live in because it's going array, and it's not just changing times. It is going to like this very hateful place, as you're saying. both on a world scale and on an individual community scale. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it really has.
And I kind of
So
think part of that has been planned or executed to a degree because I think, part of what they want, right? Like, let's say we know that they want the removal of weapons from, let's just say in generality, the removal of weapons, or B, the control from the outcome of the removal of weapons, right?
right.
Well, because they can't legislate what they want, what they've done is they've taken basically everything from social media, big government, big business, news and all that shit, and they've started conditioning people to basically enforce their thoughts and ideals societally, right? Same
Yes.
thing, masks. You're driving down the
Yeah.
street, going to a store, whatever. They can't legislate everyone needs to give up their guns, everyone needs to wear masks. So what do? They make it the thing that is to be enforced by society. And
Yes.
kind of where we're losing, because it's no more like I can't be like, hey, you know what, I love all
Yeah.
humans, human beings
Me
and
too.
people, regardless of what your beliefs are.
Yep.
And if we disagree, that's okay. I still respect you and love you
Yep.
as a human being, right?
Yep.
These people are like, fall in line or you don't exist. And if you still exist, we'll strip everything you know, love, and care
Yeah.
about and
They
deplete you
do.
of resources. And they're enforcing it by not even by the barrel of a gun anymore, by what's fucking, by what society deems is reasonable. It's crazy, man. It's a whole
Oh, the
nother
society's been sold.
bingo. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, when you think of, well, so I got a couple of thoughts here, but the first thing is that how does the media sell them? I mean, why are they selling them? The media isn't independent anymore. Like I said earlier, they're actually advocating for their own suppression, their own rights.
Yeah.
It's fucking, it is It is such a turn. I mean, I said we keep them accountable, but really that was a journalist's job my entire life that I grew up or ever known. And even the history I knew of my life before then was journalists kept our politicians accountable. Like they had real journalists that made sure, to call them out on their bullshit. And so now to live in a world where they're saying, no, you need to shut up, people. You need to do more to stop this shit. You're like, wow. Like people
Yeah.
are so willing to give away their freedom. It's amazing that they've, again, we're red pilled, but it's amazing how comfortable they are believing that this America would be able to continue under that umbrella. It's
Yeah.
preposterous to believe that.
Yeah.
And by the way, people that have a power control personality or gene, their thirst is never quenched. It just never gets satisfied. There's
Yeah.
no amount. I mean, you could look at all of history and rulers that were really terrible rulers. Eventually what happened is that thirst and that desire to quench and quench and quench and quench and quench also became their demise.
Yeah.
Okay. But
Yeah.
those people don't have a limit. So, even those folks that are agreeing with that these things are okay now, eventually it's going to be something that's very personal to them that it's going to be taken away. Okay. And, maybe it's the things you're talking about right here, which is it gets to the point, it starts with masks, but it keeps going, it keeps going, it keeps going. I think we're still in the money and ego side of it all. And we're, because America can be a very selfish place,
Mhm.
unfortunately, um, that they'll test those boundaries and that might take a little bit more time. Um, but like with us specifically, like ask yourself this question because I think it's an important one to ask. Because again, I'm always looking at opposite world, right? A male's not a male, a woman is a fucking cat, right? A patriot is a domestic extremist, the best extremist is a fucking patriot, right?
Yeah.
We're fucking so gone, far gone. But I ask myself, you can ask yourself this question because these are questions that keep MGB up at night. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money in anti-gun rhetoric and lobbying. Way more than is in our industry. Way
Oh
more.
yeah. Yeah.
Way more. Not even close. There's a lot of money in it. Do you think they really want to solve it by their solution of taking all the guns away?
You know, I don't think they do.
Let me ask a different question. Maybe
Mhm.
in this, I don't know if this is red pill or what, but this is a question that should be asked. Do you think it was really incompetence, a miscalculation, a misunderstanding with this rule change?
Or a
Or do
plan.
you think they left the loophole open on purpose?
Well, I think it's pretty clear, unless they're just that fucking stupid, and I highly doubt it. Um, Basically, all they did was just take us back 10 years, right? Because
Or do you maybe think that they were getting sued over their interpretation of it? They obviously work very closely with the anti-gun lobby. We know that.
yeah,
Halted, didn't drop, halted the lawsuit, went through this process, has this outcome, and now getting resued.
Mhm.
You think the government will settle this lawsuit for millions of dollars funneled back to them to funnel back to their campaigns again?
I mean, that's absolutely a possibility.
But these are the questions. We're in such a fucked up world
Yeah,
that we have to ask these questions because, like, what else makes sense? Like, you were rating polymer 80 under the old rule on a warrant where you used a fucking felon to build a firearm, which is another whole fucking thing. But you seized 50,000 documents. You went through all that at that time under the old rule. You changed the rule, and you're not fucking with them at all.
yeah. I mean, this could be database time, right? This could be like, you know what? Let's just because they do, of course, want to document every single thing that they can, and then when they make us the enemy, and they're doing a great job of that. I'll congratulate them for that.
I mean, look, I'll be fucking straight with you, DLD. I'll be straight with you, man, and everybody here. I actually agree with the anti-gun lobby.
Also,
Oh, I do. I believe they've got a mission statement that I love. The problem is that they don't believe it. It's just the fucking front.
you
But
mean
their mission statement is they don't want to see gun violence in America. Neither do I. I
agree?
don't want to fucking see that. But this isn't a path disagreement to me. They claim that they just want to take all guns away, right? Like all they want, and that's their solution. But it's really not. I mean, they had the opportunity. There was an opportunity on the Senate floor, to put armed guards in every single school and all the money for mental health that we could ask for, fully funded, ready to go.
It's
And it
true.
was up for unanimous vote, which means what? As long as nobody objects, then it gets through, and every school in America is protected.
And then what
Okay?
happened?
Every school in America is fucking protected. And we have real money to address mental health, which I said earlier is them fucking us up, in my opinion. Okay?
Yeah,
Who objected? One fucking asshole had to open their fucking mouth.
yeah. And one asshole.
Democrat from fucking Connecticut, the most highly influenced and paid fucking person from the anti-gun lobby, objected. Are
I
you
remember.
out of your fucking mind to believe? And nowhere on the news will you find it. Okay, you find it on my fucking channel. Okay, you nowhere in the news will you fucking find that exchange. And so, when there is another mass shooting at school, Ted Cruz said this, and he's absolutely right. You guys are going to go all over fucking TV and scream that the blood is on the hands of Republicans. No, 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 sir. No, ma'am. It wasn't your bill, right? It wasn't yours, where you control the money. You control what happens.
Yeah.
What's the best interest for our fucking children? Who the fuck cares how it came up or who it came up? The money was fucking there. Just fucking do it. But
Yeah.
no, we don't have
And,
full control over it, so we can't. You
and
understand?
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nah, I mean, it's the shame of it all, because it's about money and power and influence, and it's not really about caring about the children. It's not.
Yeah.
And so again, I can get behind that message about ending gun violence in America. I want that. But the reality is that they don't, even though they say they do. You
Yeah.
understand what I mean?
When there's not that, any type of mass shooting is an opportunity, or anything that they convey messaging to appear to be a mass shooting or whatever it may be, right? That is an opportunity for fundraising. That's an opportunity for them
Right.
to
It's absolutely. And the thing is that nobody would ever believe that, right? Like on their side. But it's so fucking crystal clear when you look at it. It's
yeah.
like every time we could actually make and look, you could just look at it just in reality. Every place that they've instituted these laws statistically have gotten fucking worse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it happened once or twice, maybe you could, but every fucking place you do this is turning fucking into a war zone. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? You know?
Yeah.
So it's one of these things where it's like, again, the same people who are all over us are the ones really contributing to more and more fucking violence. They're doing the opposite thing. And they'll say that we're domestic extremists. What are we doing? We're advocating for people to be free. We want you to be free. What are you doing? Trying to take freedom from everybody.
Yeah.
So who's really the extremist here? And this is what I mean about opposite world. Every time you call the name, you have to look at it as they're protecting themselves from, their own fucking true colors here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Even if it's freedom for you to continue to run out and yell and scream and protest the beliefs that I vehemently fucking disagree with, I would fucking die for your freedom to continue doing it.
Absolutely. In a
Right?
minute. In a fucking minute.
Would
Right.
too. Our viewers would too. Right?
In a
Like,
minute.
yeah, man. And it's just so sad that they've polarized and bifurcated the entire country for us to focus on fighting each other for the slightest difference in not even in outcomes, like you're saying, the pathway to get there and the control of the path to get there. Fucking great.
Right.
Yeah, because no matter what school shooting occurs or something in a school like that occurs, what happens? It is solved by a bullet or bullets, whether it's the shooter eating a fucking 9mm pill, or it's the police coming and dispatching him, or it's a good guy with a gun, or like these people that we talked about in the past, like Eli Dickin, and a guy that I'm actually having on this Saturday was shot in the head, and the round exited his eye, and I mean the guy was literally on the verge of death while the dude
I know
was.
what I'm doing Saturday.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'd love to have you. The dude got up and he drew his Glock 36 and he went and put 4 rounds in his chest and he killed him.
Fucking hero. While taking one to the skull.
Yep. And it here went through his skull, blew his sinuses out, exited out his eye. His eyeball was hanging from the fucking orbital nerve while he dispatched this dude.
But he's a hero.
Fuck yeah.
And he was carrying.
Yep. He had his
and he stopped probably a lot more people from being killed or seriously injured that day. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about these things, but don't they just make logical sense?
Yeah.
Why are they fought so hard then?
I I wish I knew. Probably because what you're saying is right. It's not about like, you know, the outcome. It's about the control of the money. Of course, money
Money.
is.
It's really what it comes down to. We've sold for that. We've sold out for
Yeah,
genuineness for that. We have. Give
yeah,
me just 1 second. I just gotta check this out real quick.
yeah. You're good, bro. Good. While he does that, I am anxious. Peace out, bro. I'm going to take a second, man, and think we were so deep in a really serious conversation, so I didn't want to take too many breaks, but I want to take a second and honor. We got Mike McClune, C&T Designs, Kurt. We got who else did I miss? Let me go back here. We got okay, so Coop, C&T Designs and Arms, Mike McClune, Kurt 24, Key ASC. You guys gave away like over 25 channel memberships tonight, dude. This is crazy. And I may have missed one here. Let me go off camera for a second. I'll pull it up. Okay, so Kurt 24, C&T Designs and Arms, Mike McClune, and Key ASC, and then again Key ASC. You guys gave 25 channel memberships away tonight, bro. Thank you so much, man. You guys see, all it takes is me getting somebody like Marine Gun Builder to come up in here and rile you guys up a little bit, talk about some freedom, independence, and hell yeah, man. MGB, do you foresee this country splitting up again before S really hits the fan? Jeff Crown, I'll ask him as soon as he returns. Angry Sarge, brother, I appreciate you, man, and I'll make sure to inform everybody to come check out your show as well. And I know you're going to be going live on Tactical Trash Panda's show. Let me know. Let me know when that is. Let's see. Let me see if it's in here. Damn, look at all these channel members, yo. This is crazy. Okay, so One Love Design, Two Storms, 1776, C&T Designs and Arms. Who else became a channel member? Sound off in chat if you did. That's incredible, man. Thank you, MC. I appreciate you, brother. Sold out big time. Yep. One Love Design, Nate T. Hey, what's up, Garrett? Thanks for joining us. Sport Brain, what's up, brother? You've been contributing a lot tonight too, man. I love the chat, y'all. Love the chat. He'll be back here in just a moment. Okay. Angry Sarge says, "Hey guys, I'm out. MGB, I'll see you on Sunday on your show. And the 16th on my show. Don't forget, guys, we have a great show. Okay, it is tomorrow night at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Tactical Considerations. Hell yeah, man. We're dual streaming. So it'll be on both Angry Sarge's channel and also on Tactical Trash Panda's channel. So, guys, make sure you show them some love. And so many other people in here have channels, right? C&T Designs and Arms, Murphy's Law. Who else has another channel up in here? Research. Savinity, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Taco Syndicate, there you are. Yeah, that's another channel member. Let's see who else. Toy Town, what's up, brother? I received a free membership from Key ASC. Hell yeah, man, that's incredible. The challenge is, guys, that like StreamYard and YouTube don't talk to each other, right? And I got to use the streaming software to have on great guests like Marine Gun Builder, like Raul Mendez that'll be coming on Saturday, and like 3D Print General that'll be coming on next week, and so on. Because you can't do that on streaming directly to YouTube. So we have to use a streaming software. Well, they don't show me. You know how you guys saw Kurt 24 gifted 5 memberships, C&T Designs and Arms gifted 5 memberships. You guys see that all in chat. They don't show me that. It's crazy. Like, it's almost like they don't want me to be able to thank my viewers and share gratitude. Like, what the fuck? I'm just saying. But hey, what's up, brother? T for Tejas. What's good, partner? You still need a mup jig. T for Tejas. Kind of Agrizer. Hell yeah, Agrizer. What up? Oh, is Vanessa Kitty up in here too? Did I miss that? How to become a channel member? If you're on a computer, I believe you have to be on a computer. There's a little join button. So Jeff Cron sent a little 556 super chat, and he says, "MGB, do you foresee this country splitting up again before shit really hits the fan?"
What's up, man? Thank you. What's up, Jeff Cron? Thank you for donating to the Patriot there. Appreciate it. Do I see it splitting up? No, I see us getting into a very big crisis. I'll tell you what's on my mind right now, like what I'm thinking the most likely shit hit the fan scenario is. And that is we're going to be in a very bad economic place. And well, we could talk about all of the bad economics right now, right? We could talk about the inflation. We can talk about this SBF fucking scenario is just yet another egregious example of somebody spending, the second largest donor up to the Democratic Party, by the way, right behind George Soros. Okay. But this guy swindled billions from people, and he's did an interview yesterday, and they made him out to be fucking this wonderful fucking mind, because he paid off the media. I mean, this guy fucking stole billions of dollars from people, and he's being praised by the media as not a bad guy at all. Yeah, we just don't know him and his orgy parties in the Bahamas and all this shit. But anyway, so we have all this kind of going on, okay? But the telltale sign to me was them putting up the riot fencing around the Federal Reserve. Because again, they prep, right? They're expecting something. You don't just out of the fucking blue decide to start preparing the Federal Reserve for a riot. Right? I mean, like who's waking up every day thinking, you know what, today would be a good day to go riot at the fucking Federal Reserve? Like nobody's thinking that, So why are you doing it ahead of time? Because I think that they're totally they're totally expecting something to come our way. And obviously now we have the rail strike that's upon us next week. We have, this embarrassment around oil and energy. I mean, you guys all know, I'm not going to fucking preach to the choir here about it, but I mean, you guys get it, right? Like we're getting to this point. Thanksgiving was 20% more than it ever had, the most expensive Thanksgiving in inflation in 42 years. So, look, if we're going to have a scenario, I think it will be 2008 housing collapse times about fucking 10. So I just think that's where we're going. It's just out of control financially and economically. It really is. So is that something that actually divides us? I think it really depends. I mean, you just I don't see look, and I don't want, and none of us should want that, okay? Because that is like honestly ends this freedom thing, okay? Because it would be fucking nasty. It would be nasty.
Mindset to have, because that's us being like, hey, we're so polarized and we believe so differently. Let's add even more division.
That is, and how could you ever be in a position where you're actively okay with hurting other families?
Yeah,
because most of these people would be innocent in that type of scenario. Most people that would die in that scenario wouldn't be quote unquote any type of combatant, and it's really the last thing that anybody should ever want for our country. And everybody would lose. Everybody would lose. And I don't necessarily think that, like, if you're like, oh well, I want freedom, and if that's what it takes, the reality is that anybody who thinks like that would be absolutely fucking crushed, because you really can't compete against that. What we really want is a healthy country that respects each other, okay, and respects different things. But we can't have that until our leaders have that for each other, okay? Because the more they poison everybody with their hate, that's the only thing that's going to come out of it. It's like, what's the first thing you do when you leave your house? You lock your door. What's the first thing you do when you get out of your car and close the door? You lock the door. And well, why do you do those things? Why do you lock your house? Why do you lock your car door and set the alarm? Why do you do that? You don't want people going through your shit, right?
Yeah.
You don't want them going through your shit. The thing is that we walk around with our fucking mind and we allow all this shit in all the time. We don't fucking lock ourselves away from it. You know, we don't separate, and we're not careful about what we allow in our fucking heads, you know? And so we have a whole bunch of people walking out there just taking in all this fucking hate all the time, you know, from every fucking direction. And what comes out then, you know, it's like a computer input in, this is what comes out.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't see us getting to a point where we could actually move forward as a society until that problem is solved, until that messaging from leaders are solved. And I don't see how you solve that when you've got all the money and influence, you know, pouring in for hateful messages for both sides. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the right on like the political side, a lot of the right is just as fucking corrupt as the left. And I think what they've done is they've taken, you know, things that are a result of the real, I don't want to use the word enemy, right? But the people that are the causing a lot of the real challenges in our lives, and they're taking the target off of their back, and they're saying, don't be mad at us, be mad at your purple-haired neighbor, right? It's kind of like back in 2001 when being at the shooting range, right? And then taking down a silhouette target and putting up a silhouette of like, you know, Middle Eastern dude or Osama bin Laden. You know, we're all looking at the wrong targets.
Yeah.
And instead of looking at who's actually responsible for doing things, I would not ever make a call to action, y'all. So please don't confuse this. I'm just saying they're harvesting, you know, energy from our anger, and they're saying spend it on that, not
Yeah. And when I get to like the manipulation stuff that I talked about earlier, again, I'm going to just say it again. The definition of manipulation that is used is that they provoke and disrespect, and they hope that you react to that. They poke and prod and push and provoke, and they hope you do. You know, that way they can say, "See, we told you, right? We told you these people were crazy." And the thing is that one of the most important things that we can always work on is our own emotional intelligence, you know, and not allow these things coming in, because even though I'm saying like try to protect your brain from a lot of that shit coming in, it's hard in this world, right? It's really, because it's everywhere you go. You know, I grew up in a time where we didn't speak about politics at the dinner table. Like it wasn't allowed to be talked about. And that was very common across everywhere. Like you could go to friends' house, stuff like that. Nobody talked about politics as a rule, as a household rule almost, you know. And I think it was for a good reason. I understand the reason now, you know. I knew the rule. I didn't really, I was maybe too young to understand the reasoning behind it, but now I clearly get it. But you know, now you can't escape it. It's just everywhere. It's just everywhere. I find myself constantly just having to unfortunately avoid more and more of I guess I would call it society in general or things, because I don't want to put myself in positions where I have to listen to it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, honestly, this is all what, you know, most of this channel was really kind of started off of, right? It's just naturally kind of progressed to, you know, to building and to firearms and to, I mean, we even cover explosives from time to time in a very responsible manner, of course. Just general like preparedness, homesteading, and like it's kind of gone to that. But really, a lot of what we discussed is kind of a lot of what we discussed tonight, but it can take you to such a dark place. So we have to remember to be the light, to be positive, to be kind, to be helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
Those people that, you know, we're talking about like separating from in the country and all that, like the best thing that you can do if you want a reaction, the best thing you can do is to smile at somebody, be kind to them, open the door for them, right? And then they realize that like you're wearing a gun shirt or something like that. They're like, what? Like,
Yeah,
I thought that dude was supposed to be a nasty
yeah.
racist bigot. Like, this is a nice dude I met
It,
all day.
again, the I don't want to say the other side because I'm not either. Okay, I'm an independent. All right, but the Democratic side specifically are masters at marketing. They
Mm,
really are, and because they control heavily and influence heavily the media, they are able to sell you as a firearm owner to about every fucking disgusting bucket they want. Right. So somebody who owns a gun is all of these fucking things. Like they have done an amazing job. You have to admit that. And I used to say on my channel all the time, we look at some of the things they do and we're just like, they're just so fucking stupid. Like, don't pay attention to it. But the reality is they're so fucking smart.
yeah,
And you cannot win this battle if you underestimate the people that are trying to fucking come for you. You just can't, or you don't have a shot at it. At least, you know.
yeah,
They know what they're doing. They know this game, and they play a long game as well. You know, they are very influential in the youth in this country and
yeah,
making sure that that youth is pummeled with the messages they want now, because that's a future voting block. Everything to them is a voting block. And so, again, like I said earlier, if they can find a group and they can divide them from another group, or they can create some sort of chaos to grow a voting block, then that's what they're going to do. And you know, all bets are off as far as any morality or ethics are concerned with that. That doesn't matter.
yeah. So aside from these fine folks going to prepareyourtribe.com
Yeah.
and participating in your live streams, going on Odyssey, right? And as soon as you came back, I jumped in there. You know,
Yes, you did. Thank you. Became a Python right away, man.
hey, I think you had a little bit of help with that.
All love, man.
Uh, and I support you on Odyssey too, because you know I believe that I believe that people like you should be supported, like you were saying too, right? Like you know, support the people that are willing to put their faces out here, and like there ain't no hiding from like people say like, oh, you hide your name because of X one. No, bro,
No.
they know where I'm at. They know everything I
They,
do.
they do absolutely. They're here right now. So
Yep.
I mean, but again, uh, at the end of the day, like I said, if we can't speak the truth and we can't do these things, then we what's like for me. This is just me personally, and I'm not going to speak for other people that go out there and do this. Okay, but for me personally, I don't want to live in a non-free world, and I don't want to leave my children in a world that's not free. You know,
Mhm.
like I don't want them to have to deal with that, you know. So somebody's got to do it, and I'm willing to do it, and I'm willing, you know, to take the consequences and accept that as well. But the truth is that advocating for people to exercise a freedom is the very definition of what America is, you know. And the thing, and we should be proud of that. It shouldn't be something that we're shamed into. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like the
Yep.
marketing and stuff is tough, but we need more people to be proud and to be advocates, you know, and be voices of reason and voices of freedom. And it's just the thing is it's just bigger than guns, you know. It's so much bigger than that.
Yeah.
Um, we're just we're the easy target for them, like I say, you know, because again, they've marketed ghost guns as the most evil thing on the fucking planet, right?
Yeah.
80%. And the reality is that it's such a vibrant, enthusiastic, peaceful, loving people that are just enthusiasts that love to do it. And
Yeah.
that is so clear. There's so much former military, former law enforcement, active law enforcement. You know, there's just so many people that are like everyday community people that just love to exercise their freedom. But, you know, they have painted us as this fucking evil monsters who do this. and have successfully sold that. So the minute that you are roped into, you are roped into or binded to any part of the community, you immediately become a target,
Yep.
right? I mean, for no reason, and
Yep.
that is wrong. It is the actual that is domestic extremism, right?
Yeah.
That is domestic extremism. So I mean, it really comes down to liberty, right? I mean, really, what is liberty? Liberty is I can do what I want, you do what you want, as long as we're not hurting anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Facts. Yeah. So, what else would you say people should do? Just some basic things for preparation.
All right. Yeah. I mean, air, water, food, medical, firearms, right? And pretty much in that order, right? I don't want to kind of fucking bury you with 1,000 things, but pretty much those are your things that you have to do. Now, shelter is kind of in there, but I'm just going to put that aside for a second, okay? But air, right? So we go to the rule of threes. You can survive 3 minutes without air, 3 days without food. 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, right? So you've got to take them in that priority. Like, getting water and food preps, but not having the gas mask is kind of a fucking waste, because if you're in this scenario where you can't breathe, the other shit don't really fucking matter, right? So you kind of, you want to kind of go in that order, right? So again, the rule of threes: 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. So that's kind of where you begin. And you can begin on the 3 days. Nothing wrong with that. You really want to aim for 3 weeks, though, at the start, and then eventually 3 months, and however much further you need to go. But like I said earlier, in an all-out event, and instability, so nuclear war would be the worst case scenario. So if you're prepared for that, you're prepared for anything, really, because that's worst case fucking scenario. But anything else, society will come back quicker, because again, governments exist to collect fucking money, to collect tax. So the faster they can get shit back to normal, even if we were somehow taken over by another country, if that ever could occur, that country would just want us back and moving so it can collect money, right? So it doesn't really matter how it plays out. It's really about, the time. So outside of nuclear war's time, every other scenario would be within probably a 3-month reestablishing or reordering of whatever it would be. Okay.
It's funny. I gotta say, when I said that a few months ago, I had mentioned, 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, and people tore my ass up. They were like, name one person that could go 3 minutes without air, and I'm like, no, y'all, this is proven shit. I'm not.
Yeah. So look. So when we say the rule of threes, okay, that's death at 3. Okay. Long before you get to death, you get to incapacitation. All right. So we'll use air. Yes, at 3 minutes, you're fucking clinically dead. Okay. But you're going to feel the effects at 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 1 minute, 1:15, right? So it's not like, that is death. So when we say 3 days without water, by the third day, you're probably incapacitated anyway. Okay. So anyway.
Facts.
Yeah. So anyway, so air, water, food. Okay. And then medical. Now, and medical and firearms, 4 and 5. So medical is very, very important. Obviously, to have a well put together first aid and trauma kit, and also some everyday medical, over the counter medical things that you would need. But most importantly, there, and whether it goes before firearms or not, okay, whether it's in 4th place or 5th place, is if you are, or somebody in your tribe requires medicine to live, right? So they might have their own rule of threes, right? Like they can't go 3 days without some type of pill that they take, or some type of prescription that they need. So that becomes a really high priority, okay, to prep that and over, for a sustained period of time until those resources would be available again. Okay.
Yeah.
And then firearms. So firearms are a little bit in a preparedness mindset. They're used to defend your preps, right? Like they're used for that scenario. One of the, I guess before I go on a rant again, I better take some water, huh?
Yeah, you good?
Yeah.
Are you good? And I apologize. I rarely do this, but I just got to go piss real quick. Are you good? If
put me on full screen, I'll talk about firearms and preparedness. Okay.
There you go, my man.
You go drain that monkey. All right. So when it comes to preparedness and firearms, the thing is that you never want to have this cowboy attitude, right? The ego attitude that we see so often out there in the preparedness community, where this idea is, well, I don't need to take preparedness steps because I have firearms. And if something were to happen, then I would just be fucking cowboy and go and take what I want because I have firearms. And this is a very terrible position to have from a preparedness standpoint, especially if you believe that any type of event is possible. Because in that event, you have to understand that the people who have prepared, the people who have resources, they've got firearms too. And so now every time you're in a position where you need to go out and find a resource, okay, to sustain life, you're going to be putting yourself in an unnecessary risk. You're going to be putting yourself in situation after situation after situation where you're going to have to try to be an enforcer, and the likeliness that you're going to be on a suicide mission every time is very, very high. So this is a very bad strategy to go with. You want to be prepared, and we want to use firearms as a defensive method. Now, one of the things I said this week on Sunday Night Survival Show that I talked about is the fact that as people who build firearms, people like us in this type of community, we're even further ahead because we have intimate knowledge of exactly how these components work with each other, again, intimately in there. And so, we're far ahead in that one area of preparedness, which is firearms. But shelter is important as well. So let me talk about shelter. So there is a rule with shelter too, like depending on the environment you're in and how long you can sustain being caught out there. What preparedness is and what is it isn't. It isn't like you watch a YouTube video and somebody's out there fucking camping in a tent or testing out, different camping supplies. Okay. The reality is when we're talking about a shit hit the fan event, camping in the woods is just not going to be a strategy that's going to work long term. And certainly you're going to be giving away your position over time, especially as different temperatures come into play. But shelter is important here, okay? And with shelter, we live in a very modern world, okay? So there will be lots of places for you to shelter should you have to leave your own shelter, okay? There will be lots of places to shelter in. And I'm not talking just homes. There's so many commercial buildings and places that you can go. What you should be looking for in preparedness as far as like moving or depending on the situation, your primary thing is you're going to want to stay where you're at, okay? You're not going to want to go out in a real world shit hit the fan thing. You're just not going to want to go out there. It's going to be a breakdown of society, okay? Again, these things are temporary, like I said, because they're going to want to get things restored. So sometimes these things happen at a local level, right? We've seen that all of the time. But I think we're talking more nationally here. So you want to be in your own home, but there may come a time, and it might be at the beginning, but there may come a time where you have to move. Okay. And so any type of preparedness that you're doing on those things, again, air, water, food, okay, you want to make sure that they're highly transportable as well. Okay. It's a lesson that I learned. Okay. I've been through the extreme cold weather survival school in the Marine Corps. It sucked. But I learned that, like I thought I learned everything. And then you start to do these things and you start to practice your drills and practice, bugging out. And you start to realize shit that you really didn't think or you thought you knew and you didn't know shit. So practicing is a piece of this. But with shelter, if you're in a move out situation, number one, you want to make sure you can bring stuff with you that's survivable, longer term. But two, you want to be looking for places that you can, for the lack of a better word, commandeer. A commercial building that has, resources that might be in a commercial building. Okay, now I'm not talking go to fucking Home Depot because everybody's going to Home Depot. I'm not talking about going to Walmart because everybody's going to Walmart. Don't go to Bass Pro Shops because everybody's going to fucking Bass Pro Shops. Okay, but you want to be looking for the fucking nonchalant office building, that there's nowhere around, that's strategically located. If it's on top of a hill or an elevated position, that's good. Anything that is already set off grid. A lot of these commercial buildings have made the switch from on grid to off grid abilities. That would be fucking golden. Those would be your high priority ones to identify all along your route. Like if you have a bug out destination, you want to identify these all along. Any place that has 100% sustained solar would be a good place, a good commercial building for you to look at along your route.
A lot of those do have like built-in like kitchens and cafes.
Yes.
Like
these are excellent places, and nobody's going to go to their fucking work office building at this event, so they're going to be vacant. Okay, but a lot of these commercial buildings are completely off grid and have switched to, energy efficient buildings, and so this works to your favor. If you have to move, you want to look for those. Until whatever your final destination is going to be, or that might even be a final destination if you're out of harm's way. If you need to get out of harm's way, I always tell people, so we always have this picture, well, I can load up the fucking SUV and just drive. That also might not be possible. So if you're thinking about, well, how do we bug out? You can't always think that you're driving to these places, right? And you also, like, that's another whole side of preparedness. Do you have enough fuel reserve to get to where you're going? Because you're not going to stop at a gas station. So, the other thing is to look at railroads. You really need to familiarize yourself with wherever your destination is and what the railroads look like going to them. And specifically freight railroads is what you want to look at, okay? Railroads go all over this country. They're everywhere, and they're not heavily traveled. And certainly people looking to escape a certain area aren't thinking railroads. So you need to think railroads, because that's where you're going to run into less people. This is all a game of avoidance if you have to move out of your base. You don't want to come in contact with anybody, okay? And I would say that's especially true the later you go on in a scenario, because the people that are going to be left are going to be some hardcore motherfuckers you don't want to deal with. Okay, you certainly don't want to put them with your family, because they probably already survived and won the battles that needed to be won. Okay,
Sure.
So yeah, it is very true. So railroads would be an escape route. Most people in our country live on a coast. I'm one of them. Okay, or somewhere where they can get to. Are not far from the coast. So if you've never thought about sailing, now's a good time to start to think about that. Do a little bit of research on it. Okay, boats are there and they're free in that situation. So if you can get to a railroad that takes you to a coast, to a marina, you got some sailboats, you'll be living good. Again, you have to be able to transport your supplies. That's a big one. But other than that, if you're just, you're staying home, you're doing these things, you've got your preps at home, you lay low, you let the fucking world work it out, and then you kind of see where it lands, right? I mean, that's the best case scenario that you could have. Let everybody else go fucking nuts like they do now. Let them all go crazy. And then, you wait for the dust to settle and understand where it's at.
Yeah, I mean, we were at a point where people were punching strangers in the face over toilet paper. And they may not have even needed toilet paper. They just saw that the toilet paper shelf was empty. Programming kicks in, and it's like, everybody's going to see this movie. I need to go see this movie.
It's sad, but what else did they buy?
Ammo. Guns
they bought ammo. They bought shit paper and ammo. that was it. COVID was a for gun building. We went when that epidemic happened. Like the amount of Democrats that came into our community was astonishing, like
Oh,
overnight. And
yeah.
well, because they never really owned guns, and then they couldn't buy them because they couldn't get them because it
Because
was sold out of stores. So
yeah,
we had this huge, like we had to turn off politics completely. We had one little category. I'm like, we got to get fucking rid of it because it got out of control. Like overnight, within a week, it went from, none of that to they came in and were like, teach me how to build guns. But what the fuck is going on in this political forum?
yeah.
It's like, whoa, calm down, calm
Oh,
down.
and
But they came in droves. I'm glad I'm publishing again because a lot of them are leaving because they don't like what I'm saying. But hold on one second.
yeah, you're good.
I'm going to show you something.
It's funny too because so many people came in thinking they could buy a gun over the internet, and thinking they can you know come in and do a background check in some states and leave immediately. Like they had no idea. They're like, why can't I get a gun and just walk out? Like, bro, you voted for this shit.
They all of a sudden learned how strict the gun laws were. They
Yeah.
didn't know that beforehand, right? They learned real quick that they're pretty fucking strong.
Can I
But
use
instead of toilet paper, these things are fucking wonderful. Okay, this
what,
here is Porta White, and
oh,
I have my PC right here. But you just put this in water, and it turns into a paper towel. Okay, and they're very durable. They're excellent. So you put them in a little sleeve like this, and this is face cloth, you know, toilet paper, paper towel, whatever you want it to be. You can carry a ton of these. Okay.
portable power.
Huh? Porta
Portable.
wipes. Yeah, porta wipes. So, these are just a box. Okay, it's 500 in a box. I think you can get them in 100 too. But
That'd be a good.
I mean, look how small this is, and this is like a month's worth of fucking toilet paper for a whole family. Okay.
Hell yeah.
So that's much bigger than like what we would get, like a big thing of Charmin, right? Takes up a lot of room. These
Oh
are
yeah.
great. Okay, so keep these on hand. Many, many uses for them. Wonderful.
I used to take out toilet paper, literally unroll it, remove the roll, and then roll that shit back up, and it's about the size of a toilet paper roll if you do that.
Yes,
But I
yeah.
got a bunch of those. They take these. They're really similar to that, but they call them like towels, and they're about the size of I don't know, like 2/3 of the size of like the bottom of a Coke can,
Yep.
and it turns into a towel this big. But those are also great for like medical needs.
Absolutely. And hygiene is a very big thing in those types of scenarios because like I come across obviously people all the time that are like, well, I live in the middle of nowhere, and so I'm not really worried about it, and this, that, and the other, or I live in a pretty safe community, so I'm not really worried about it. And you start to scratch your head and be like, your neighbors aren't going to be that nice.
You're-
When their kids are starving, they're going to be mean.
they will be the first one to eat your ass.
Right. Right, but the thing is you got to take so many other things into consideration. We live in this modern society where everybody depends on government institutions to do things. Like you could want to stay in your house. Just an example here, okay? You could want to stay in your house, and you're like, "Yep, that's what I want to do," and I got fucking 3 years supply. I'm good. We're gonna be and we got freezers packed full of venison. I'm gonna be eating like a king over here.
Yeah.
But then an event happens, but you don't know how your sewage plant works, and it's not gravity fed. It requires a pump, and you don't know that. How many of you fucking know exactly what your sewer system does for your public utilities? Maybe some of you have a septic, right? But they don't know that maybe that in their area or their house is connected to a line that's not gravity fed that requires pumping. So now what do you think is going to happen to your fucking house, after a week, After 2 weeks, eventually that sewage is going to back up and it's going to make your home inhabitable, and you're going to be forced to move, right? So it's thinking about some of these things as well, like really understanding the entire system of it is a whole education. It's awesome, by the way. But number two, you've got to kind of foresee these things as possibilities, okay? And so, like, there are preppers. You don't want to use the word prepare, but there preparedness mindset. But there are people that come to a preparedness mindset, and you'll see them, like something I just said about sewage. But they'll be like, oh, I've been preparing for about 4 years. I feel really good, da, da, da. And then you throw something like that at them, and like, fuck, I never thought of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's all these things to consider.
Yeah, and I mean, like, honestly, there's so many variables looking at like the type of events that can happen, right? That's why, like, a life of preparedness is really challenging, right?
It is, yeah.
I mean, look at Ukraine, right? They got electricity, they got Wi-Fi. Like, we could only pray to be in a situation like that,
Yeah, for sure.
But there's also downsides that come with that shit too. You're tracked. Anybody can find your ass. It's we can only do what we can to live a life of preparedness and try to contribute to others that are on the same path as us, and try to, if we can, find a way to get out of like what people typically call prepping, which is just hoarding, and find it sustainably, and as to I wish I was at that point, but we're all at different stages of this. But
it is true. I am so my comfortability level is, for me, is 3 months. Okay. That's my comfortability level. And that actually doesn't take long to get to. And again, the reason why you want to be in a community, or you want to be part of a community, is because it's going to save you from making fucking mistakes. Okay. And it's going to save you money. This actually is not expensive at all. I would say that it's the opposite. It makes you become very more mindful of your resources and how you use them and how you expend them. It's an entire education just on your process, okay, that you learn. But the reality is, you want to get up to the point where you have 3 months of water and food, okay, and then consumables like toilet paper, okay, whatever you consume as in your household, either you individually or the people you live with. What does that consumption look like? This is eye-opening alone, even if you don't go down the preparedness route. But you want to get to a 3 month supply of that. And then after that, everything's just rotation. You're just rotating things out. But the 3 month supply never depletes. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's really just like we're just in a cycle that just works, and we always have the 3 months there, because it's just, again, these are things we're using. And that's a good thing, because even if you buy shit that in your plan doesn't seem to work, you just consume it. Right? So it's gonna get removed and cycled anyway. So it's not even, there's no risk to that part of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's definitely when like that mindset shifts, right? When like people aren't just grabbing emergency food, where like good luck trying to shit out eating a week of fucking emergency food, all like that shit.
Did you read my post on that in Mountain House, about Mountain House?
No, I didn't see that.
So I mean, that happens, right? I mean, if you're in the military and ever had MREs and shit like that, there's a sustained time. But like I love the taste of Mountain House. There's nothing like a hot meal. Like, so before you go buy 3 months worth of food of anything, buy just like a day and start there. Then buy 3 days, but then only eat that. Don't fuck around. Like, practice just that and see how you feel, because everybody's tolerance is different. Go spend 3 months to find out in the shit hit the fan scenario. Oh, well, I got 3 months of food. We're good. Open the fucking, open the bucket, bucket one for month one, and you're like sick after 2 or 3 days. You've got to make sure that you are able to be happy, basically, is what you want. Okay.
Yeah. And that, that food is designed to stick to your ribs and hold a lot.
Yeah.
Boy, does. I remember the first time when I sat down with my family and looked and saw that we went through like, 13 to 15 or 13 to 16,000 gallons of water a
Right.
fucking month. I was like,
Right. I
I'm like,
know. I know. I know. I
not
know.
taking long ass showers and just so
Yes.
things get adjusted, but it's crazy. We don't think of shit like that typically. So now before we go offline, I think we should do like a quick little like MGB lightning round. You cool with that?
A what? A
Like a
lightning round? Sure.
quick questions and shit like
Yeah.
that. And I won't set you up
Well,
right
I
now.
talk a lot, so it's tough for me to answer very fast.
Yeah, uh, yeah. Get you out up on another conversation. Uh, what's your favorite 80% Glock frame?
It would have been probably the CL.
Ooh, okay, okay. See, I wasn't sure if you were gonna say a polymer 80 product or not.
Yeah. I, um, I
That's a
think
special.
Glock got it wrong and Polymer 80 got it right. Like Glock went one way and Polymer 80 went the other.
Yeah, yeah,
But it just wasn't a sustainable product, which always surprised me. It really was not. It wasn't a big seller, which is why they discontinued it. But I really enjoyed that one for sure.
There are some folks out there that got like little collections of white CLs and shit like
Yeah,
that.
well,
Ooh,
fucking wonderful. The thing is that like we had to do grip chops before that.
yeah,
you
yeah,
know, it's, and they're doable, but they suck. Like you've got to. I don't know. It was an introduction that I didn't see coming. Number one, like I never saw them coming, and they
mhm,
kept it under wraps because nobody fucking knew about it, and
mhm.
they dropped it, and you were like, "Oh man, fucking perfect!" Right?
Yeah,
So, I mean, I was a big fan of it. Yeah, I was just
yeah,
a big fan of it.
yeah. I think they're. I mean, even like the 26 XL style or the 1926 style.
Right.
I like that concept a lot. Um, what are your thoughts or feelings on the GST9?
So, look, I had a little public back and forth with them at the beginning there. Um, and I actually need to talk to the owner of 80% Arms because I got some information for him that would probably prove useful. So I got to reach out to him now that you just said that.
So maybe you don't need to
Yeah,
answer.
no, it's all good. It's good. It's good. We're in the same fight, man. Right. So
Yeah,
like when it first came out, there was just a lot of turmoil around it. And I had heard that they had fixed it and stuff like that afterwards. I just didn't get involved with it after because we had this little public back and forth.
mhm,
So I just didn't get involved with it after that. And I think that like I don't know, like to me it was really it was a nothing burger really, but it
mhm.
became something. I think people love drama in our industry as well. you know, there's certain level of that occurs, and I'm not
Yeah,
going to say that I'm innocent in it either because I was back and forth with them as well,
yeah,
and I was aggressive, and I'll admit that. But I don't know any of their new products because they ended up outlawing it in my state, so I could like 80% arms wouldn't send it to my state. They wouldn't even send it here. So
gotcha.
I never got to see the renditions that they did to it. So I can't really speak on like what today's GST9 is, but I do need to speak to them.
And I actually was not aware that there was anything between. I was just curious, on your thoughts of the feel of the frame, like all that shit.
You
So
know, you
I
know.
wasn't trying to dig for drama or anything.
No, well, look, again, this was so long ago. But if you know anything about me, for everybody that's here, yes, we did a lot of gun building, but I did. But when you really look at what the success of the channel was, It was I was fixing all of Polymer 80's fuck ups. Like
Yeah.
that's what made the channel. It really wasn't. This is how you build it. Those videos were popular, but the videos that really were the ones that was huge were how do you fix the block? How do you fix the rail? Hey, these parts are not fitting in this. Why? Right? Those are the videos that really took off, were solving the problems of assembly and problems with the mold and problems with the LBRS. Right?
Yeah.
Those were the things that people were watching. Right? Those are the videos that set it off. Those were the ones that were the most searched. And it was funny because that's typically how they would come to the channel, but then they would go watch the actual building, but they had probably already done that part of it. Do you understand what I'm saying? But now they're trying to get it to work, and it won't fucking work. So they're going to those things.
Yeah. That's what I loved about. I mean, honestly, when I channel, I was already, half a dozen builds in, and I was like, oh, and I actually went back to my other builds and
fix some shit. Yeah. That's what I think people enjoyed the most, was the gunsmithing part of it, right? The reshaping of parts and that. I mean, though, and again, I know that statistically because that's what was watched. That's where those subscribers were coming from. They were coming heavily into problem solving. So I guess the answer to your question is, I think some of it, 80% arms, I am going to reach out to you. I think some of it was the initial, like they took the way I approach things as a problem solving mindset as an insult. And it's not how I initially came across until I felt like then it was an insult. You know what I mean? Like it escalated. But again, I was used to fixing all the fucking Polymer 80s problems for years before they ever came along with this shit. I mean, everybody knows that. It's not like it was a lot hidden or that we were lying about something. They had serious fucking problems. I wasn't promoting their product. I was fixing the product. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Polymer 80 was always open to that, by the way. So I think that was the difference. They were like, oh shit. There was a time from really that whole first year I worked with their technical department. We would talk every day about this and that and these things because they were overwhelmed with phone calls coming in, and they only had a couple of people in the area that were taking phone calls, and they couldn't handle the amount of volume and answer the questions. They got to the point they just started pointing to my videos. They were like, go watch this video, right? And we would see people in groups saying, I called Polymer 80 and they told me to go watch an MGB video. We would see that constantly. So yeah, man.
Did you ever mess with the Lone Wolf frames at all?
No.
What about the one, the
MUP one that's out here now? Yep. Jordan has done an amazing job. Yep. So Jordan has done an amazing job. I had put that on Instagram a little bit, and then we had a 6 series on my blog only that was there. We obviously had a full category there as well. So and I had a little 3D thing that you printed template that one of the members had made that we had drawn up and shown him, and he would put it in there, and you would just kind of scrape right up to it and be there. But that system was well thought out. So Jordan, like the combination of how the jig worked with the MUP one was just a fantastic design. The jig was 100% on the money every single time. You could reuse the jig over and over and over again. And I prefer to work with metal over polymer. The polymer it's fucking plastic, and it's a pain in the ass to get perfect. I always approached like what I did with Polymer 80, and I don't know. I guess I'll have to reflect on it, but to me, I am a perfectionist. But I always said, like, our tagline was learn, innovate, and share. Like, learn what I'm doing or how I do it, but innovate on it. Be better. You know, come up with new ways. This is just a way,
Yeah.
okay? And here's 5 other ways. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters, I used to say all the time, I don't care if you fucking chew the tabs off. Just build the fucking freedom, man. I don't care what tool you use or how you do it. You know, or you gnaw it with you physically with your teeth, or you go find a beaver. Just fucking get it done. You know, just build your freedom, do it your way. You know, because like even within the market, there was tension between some of us. You know,
Mhm.
and I've reached out to them, and I care about them deeply. That's why every Tuesday, you know, if any of them are here, but I'm going to be opening this up so I can work with you guys and leverage what we have as far as an audience to you. You know what I mean? Because it needs to be there. No, but anyway, when it comes to like that stuff, like if we all got in a room, if you got everybody in a room, we would have many different ways of doing this. Do you
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? And it wouldn't really matter. What matters is that it works at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. That's reliable and dependable, right? That's the goal.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah,
Pretty.
I'm crazy, but nobody's really stripping the fucking slide to look at how perfect your fucking tabs are, right? Like, nobody
Yeah.
cares about that as long as it functions.
I might. Yeah.
I mean, I do because
Yeah.
I know, and I'll be going to sleep thinking you did a fucking shitty job in that fucking frame, you know. So yeah, but that's my own personal demon. You
I,
understand what I mean?
I feel you. I'm the dude with like when my shit is lined up, like my tools and my stuff that I use. I got Pledge there. I got like but I'm also the guy that like I'll do 90% of the shit on a frame outside of the jig, and I'll do it
Yeah.
with a blade. I'll clear 80+% of the channel out with a razor blade.
Yeah.
And like I don't like using the end mills on so everyone's got their different way. Like man, and that would drive people crazy when I would do Instagram lives and do a frame on people would be like, bro, you're
Yeah.
it's so long, but then afterwards they'd be
Yeah.
like, okay, that's just clean though, you know?
Right. And you know, again, it worked. One of the things that there's a lot that also pissed me off. So you have to understand that, like, so I introduced, uh, so I, in- oh, these are Huskies, but so I introduced like a fret cutter, right?
Yep, I remember
So
that.
like when I introduced the fret cutter to the community, you know, and how I did it with the fret cutters, um, we were buying them for $19. Okay.
Mm, yeah.
But because the channel blew up, there was only one distributor that got them here in the US, and the channel blew up, and he started charging, he basically went up to $50. So he more than doubled what he was asking for him. And so people brought it to my attention, and I was like, what the fuck? There's only one guy on Amazon that was selling them. Okay.
Mhm.
And I was like, what the fuck? So I ended up calling Hosco, the company, and I was like, hey, look, this guy's doing this. I got people that want to buy them. They're getting, price gouge. Like, can we fix this? And Hosco was like, yeah, we would actually love to have another distributor in the US, right? I'm like, great, sign me up. He's like, what are you using them for? I'm like, we're building guns. He was like, we're a music company. We don't do that. And I'm like, I'm selling it. You're selling a tool. Yeah, but we don't want them used for that. I
What?
was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
Uh,
what do you care? No, they're for music. And we had this terrible argument over the phone. I can't remember
that's
where they were from. I
that's
don't
crazy.
know. But anyway,
Yeah.
so,
Uh,
like this has been such a long process. But then, you had Nipex come out with a really decent pair for cheap for $16. So people just fucking
yeah.
went to that one,
Yeah.
that. So my first gun was a Beretta. You know, is
Okay.
he asking me that question? Or
No,
is
I
he
think
just saying Beretta question mark?
he was asking for like what other frames and potential like 80%ers could be available, and I just wanted to put that up as a reminder to say
Oh,
there actually is an 80% Beretta and an 80% jig that was not only developed by Jordan and JSD, but they also got an approval letter at a bad fucking time. I mean, if the rule change didn't exist, we would all be able to, knock out aluminum frame Berettas just like we're doing the the MUPs.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but it is what
Well,
it
you
is.
got to ask yourself now, though. So we've been doing a great job tonight asking about questions, right? Asking questions that make you go, right? We've been doing a great job of that tonight.
Thank you.
Now that this rule change has been done, haven't they just reaffirmed it?
Yeah, I mean,
Because none of us would be sitting here right now. None of this would be happening at all
yeah,
if they didn't approve the original request of Polymer 80, right?
yeah,
Like nobody would have been building. They could have just said no, and Polymer 80 could have sued them or whatever, right, to try to get it. But the reality is that they're the ones who gave permission and said, yeah, guys, go knock yourself the fuck out. Have fun with it, right?
yeah, yeah.
Now, this is the second time they've affirmed it.
Yeah.
Right? Because so at what point I don't ever see it being overturned. You know what I mean? I didn't think it was going to be overturned anyway, but I don't think that now that you've done it again.
Yeah. I mean, and they've created an industry for my website, like that wouldn't exist, right? Like it's crazy. But if we look at it from from a different perspective of like when building from unfinished frames and receivers kind of, not when it started, but because it's been around forever, right? But like when it was just becoming to kind of drum up a lot more popularity, you never got a whole kit together with the unfinished frame, the jig, tools, like all that shit all in one, right? You went and you bought your like AR lower at this place, then you went and you bought your jig at this place, your bit kit. That's kind of like how it was. So really all they did was just bring us back a decade.
Well, yeah, but part of it is that you've had great entrepreneurs like Jordan out there who are great business people as well, and so many others too. But I mean, but that saw this and said, I want to serve my customer better, right? It really wasn't about just what they approved or didn't approve from Polymer 80. They were also trying to serve customers better, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what businesses do.
Yeah.
The Polymer 80 included, all the other ones included.
Mm-hmm.
We want to provide the best experience for our customer as possible, because that creates brand recognition, it creates repeat business, and it creates a healthy system for their employees to have great jobs. All of these things are wonderful, right?
Yeah.
So, it's not surprising that these things became kits in that way. And it's almost like, of course it would, because the more great business-minded people came together to serve their customers better, the better they got at flushing out what does the customer actually want. Like when they come to my store and they buy these 5 things, can I just sell them as one thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's just smart business. It wasn't like somebody was trying to undo or overgo by a rule or circumvent a rule. That's not what was happening. You know what I mean?
They see it as, y'all are trying to circumvent a 4473 and
come on, what the I mean, but again, what makes sense, that or what I just said?
Yeah, for sure, right? Like I'm gonna build guns no matter what. And I think most people that are kind of balls deep into this, they probably will too.
Right.
But yeah, no, I agree. Right. Now, are you a 9mm dude or a 40 cal dude?
I would be, just because I'm a preparedness person as well. I'm a 9mm person.
Look at that. So for
I'm a 9mm person.
That out there, y'all 40 cal groupie somewhere else.
I love my 40 cal. I love my 40 cals, but from a strict like preparedness mindset, 9mm. Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, it's you have to go with what would be available. You got to think about that, right? 223, 556. You've just got to be on that page.
Yeah, what's the most prolific?
Hold on 1 second.
Et cetera, His
That's
little
why
one.
my son fractured his finger at school.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time sleeping tonight. My wife, I can hear her walking around over there.
If you need, feel free. If you need to hop off or whatever, we can
No, what
wrap.
else we got?
We'll wrap it up in just.
Some of our comments.
Now, what about long guns? And then I promise I'll pull up some comments.
Okay. Hold on one second. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Isn't a 4473 an AFT rule? So if you look at a 4473, what doing paperwork is a combination of state and federal paperwork, right? So you're looking at doing a state police background check and an ATF background check. So it's 2 layers deep, but the 4473 is a federal document. Exactly, my G17 is my backup. I'm way late, but I'll be rewatching more. Hell yeah. Hey, more Beta Prince. It was an excellent stream. It got pretty deep. We're already 2.5 hours into this shit, bro. Probably 38 super. That's what he had for yeah, that is true. With FBI cooperation. Facts. Not according to Hunter. Yeah, very, very good point. Let's see. 40 for the win, of course. Some people have said that 40 cal is actually gluten-free 10 millimeter. I like 45 and 10 millimeter, but 9 millimeter is used by all military. So that's kind of one of the things that I wanted to bring up, right? Is like, you got to look at like what is the most prolific caliber and magazine, and 9 times out of 10 you're going to be looking at a Glock 9 millimeter, right? 17, 19. A 19 would probably be your best bet for, you know, being able to throw in a 19 or a 17 or a 33 round mag or whatever. But then also you got Berettas. If you have a couple Berettas on standby, I got my 92 FS and my M9A3, and I'll rock both proudly. Actually, all of my gear, I'm switching over all of my gear, my Safariland thigh rig, my, I'm switching over to my Beretta M9A3 because that shit, bro, it's a whole nother level of accuracy. And I love my Glocks. I'm a Glock fanboy. I have built dozens and dozens, but there's just something special about that single double. I ain't gonna lie. Sawi, I am a 10 millimeter gal, of course. It's official. 40 is for non-prepping ass. For real. Too many choices, already went to bed. Damn. Oh no, he was up in here. I saw him. Okay, DLD After Dark. Has the chubby gone down yet from having MGB on? Ask him what he thinks of the guys. Okay, I don't know if he's got his hands on one yet, but I'll definitely ask him. 40 is for dudes with little dicks, can't handle 45 or 10 mil, and are too insecure to carry 9 millimeter. Dang, Kill Switch Customs, crushing it. 7.5 FK Bruno, FN 5.7, but hotter and more money. Bro, 7.5 FK Bruno is like the unicorn cartridge. I thought I was crazy building a Glock 33 polymer 80 in 357 SIG because I knew I'd be looking at $1 a round or more. And I did, man, for my first batch of ammo that I got for my 357 SIG, I could only order online. I couldn't find anything in like person until I already, purchased an order. And I'm pretty sure I paid like $120, $130 for like 80 rounds, but that was all jacketed hollow points and shit like that. I'd rather just go 10 millimeter than 40, 9 mil for continuity reasons, for sure.
All right, man. I gotta go take care of this. But what was the question?
Yeah.
You could just say good night about something else.
No, you're good,
I don't
brother.
want to leave you hanging. All right. Thank you so much for having me on, buddy.
Bro, thank you, man.
It was a great time.
I honestly have always been a huge fan of what you did and how much you've contributed to just our world. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
And
I hope to see you on Tuesdays at 8:30.
Yes, I'll be up in there, and I'll be on your show on.
Yes, you're coming up.
Yeah,
2 Sundays from now. 2 Sundays, right? 2 Sundays from now, baby. I can't wait. We're gonna dive. We're gonna dive into preparedness mindset. We're gonna red pill some more. I hope all of you feel like you got something really good out of tonight.
Hell yeah.
You know, I think it was great. Thank
Yeah,
you,
man. Everybody go to prepareyourtribe.com. Show MGB some support and love. And brother, take care of your family. I'll close the stream with all that. And I will ask you though, once things wind down, do me a favor. Watch the last 5 minutes of the stream. I think it'd be important for you to see how we close it out every time. All right.
I promise you, I'll watch it tomorrow.
All right,
okay. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Okay. Now, in typical DLD fashion, anytime we have like a really big name or a really big, person that's had a big impact on the community, after they sign off, I go, "Oh my God, that was MGB!" Something like that. But no, man, Marine Gun Builder has had such a big impact on the community. Like, he took building and assembling it to a whole nother level. It's been crazy. So we'll go ahead and bring it to an end here. But guys, I have to take a second. Mark Tucker, what's up, brother? I don't think I actually showed you some love. So Fluffy Bunny Arsenal, Sport Brand, Mark Tucker, Mafka, Jeff Cron, Killswitch Customs, Taco Syndicate, G-Lint, Noves, Nate D, Tech Money. So look at all these channel members, yo. Guys, our community gifted like almost 30 channel members tonight. Kurt24, Mike McClune, Key ASC, CNT Designs and Arms. Guys, thank you so much. Like, you have no idea how much that means to me. And I apologize because I didn't want to interrupt the stream. Like, you could see MGB was passionate, bro. He was passionate. He was in it. So I didn't want to jump in and interrupt any more than I already had. But Come Out in PLA gave away memberships tonight, man. You guys, y'all, this means so much more to me than y'all would ever know. I so appreciate the support. I appreciate all you guys, for real. Andy Lipsco, my brother, John Rice, Jeff Cron, Anthony Smith, More Beta Prince, Dave Philpott, Fire Rodder, One Love Design, Goombeam, all y'all, man. You guys are incredible. So as we bring this epic stream to an end, I was hoping I'd have a few minutes with Marine Gun Builder solo, but don't forget that I'm going to be doing some giveaways. I actually have some shit headed to me in the mail that I intend to use for you. Hey, Vanessa Kitty, good to see you. I have some shit headed to me in the mail that'll probably be here Monday for me to start giving away to y'all. And the way that you enter into the giveaway is after the stream posts to the channel. We still got 51 people in here. We had around 80 people in here for most of the night, which is awesome. After the stream posts to the channel, what you do is you go comment. Obviously, if you hit the thumbs up, that'd be great too. But comment and then comment on other people's comments. And what that does is it helps my channel. It helps drive the channel. It helps push this information out, which I think y'all would agree this is important information to push out. And it helps keep this relevant for more than just the 2 days that YouTube allows it to, end up in people's news, their feeds, video feeds and shit like that. But what I do is I'll go back through and I'll literally take all the comments and I'll run random selections with it. So every single time you comment and comments on other people's comments, that's an entry. And, I'll give away shit like some OTF switchblades and, just punches, tools, and dope shit like that. So make sure that y'all take advantage of that. I like free stuff. Also, y'all, because there's still 52 people in here. I don't know if y'all know this. This wasn't really like pushed out as like a big message, but y'all need to know that Serialist is doing a show this Friday, tomorrow at 9 p.m. Every single viewer wins a prize. Let me back up a little bit and say that again. Tomorrow, Serialist with IPS, the whole crew, right? Misfits, all those guys push it real good. If you come on and watch and you log in and you come in on YouTube and you watch from the beginning to the end, you are going to win a prize. If there's 50 people in there, 100 people there, every single person is going to win a prize. So this is a big fucking deal. They're going to also give away a 3D printer during the stream. And they have a huge kit for whoever wins. I forgot exactly what it is, but it's a big fucking deal. So let's support them. Let's show them some love. Prize code in my DMs. So make sure y'all show up tomorrow. If you do not subscribe to Serialists, just go, hey, got my order in the 1776. Hell yeah. And make sure we support great companies too, like 1776 Supply Co., Goonbeam, Tack Knives. Guys, if you go to Tack Knives, TAC Knives, USA.com, and you use code DARK, you save 20%. Do I have one of the? I don't think I have one handy, but you save 20 motherfucking percent, bro. So take advantage. There's some of the dopest OTF knives I've got for 150 bucks. Literally, I've held the Pro line side by side with Microtex and been like, 450, 150, 450, 150. I'm just saying. Not all of them are that quality, okay? Some of them are cheaper, and they're designed to be cheaper, so keep that in mind. But anyway, I want to thank all of you guys for coming, kicking it with us. Getting to know MGB was so fucking epic. I loved it. Also, remember, I'm going to have Raul Mendez on the show this Saturday. The hero that we talked about that stopped a guy that was actively killing people. And then we're going to have 3D Print General on next week. So, yeah, this is a big deal, y'all. This is a big deal. So I appreciate all you guys. Love y'all so much. And let's go ahead and close out the show the way we always do. Guys, rule number 1 is to be kind. It is so important that we're kind in everything that we do. That brief little interaction you have with somebody, you never know, that could have a huge impact on their life. Okay. Rule number 2 is to live a life of care, compassion, contribution, give to others. When you bless others, you become blessed. A hand that's open to give is also open to receive. So that's the way the world works, and you will never realize how big your life can be until you focus on blessing others. Number 3, we know that the only way for us to defeat evil is with good men skilled in violence. So make sure, for the sake of self-preservation, that you are becoming as highly skilled in violence as you possibly can be. And be safe, be dangerous, and keep that thing on you. That's it. That's all I got for y'all today. Thank y'all so much. Remember, after this post a comment, and you'll be entered in one of the giveaways. And I'll be giving away some fire-ass shit. So I love y'all. Thank you again. And make sure you show up on the next one. Y'all are going to love it. I'll see y'all soon. Peace. Shout out to MGB. Go to prepareyourtribe.com. What are y'all doing? And don't forget DLD Hardware. They be having some fire-ass jigs, bro. $25. $25. I don't know if y'all seen that Polymer 80 Inc. dropped an Instagram post today saying, guys, Polymer 80 now sells jigs. And they're like, what? And they're like, yeah, $50. You know, DLD Hardware has the same Polymer 80 jigs for $25. That's so weird. It's almost like they're going to come after me for a MAP pricing violation and forced me to increase my prices, but I would never talk about that publicly. Love y'all. Bye.